Well, ladies and gentlemen, the Australian Football League and Premier Partner Toyota welcome you to the first qualifying final here at the MCG. Would you now please join with the players and the umpires as we stand for the Australian National Anthem.
So the stage is set. The playing of the national anthem. And these two sides to see who goes on straight to the preliminary final. Today's loser meets Collingwood next Saturday night. Let's go down to Ricky Olorenshaw with big game nerves and, dare I say it, big weather nerves.
Thanks, Dennis. Yes, when we arrived at the ground, we were basking sunshine, but over the last 10 minutes or so, the clouds have arrived. It got very dark, and Jill Lindsay ordered the lights to be turned on. Looking at the weather map, I'm not a meteorologist, but I can tell there's a storm coming through. It hit Anglesea and Torquay, coming through Geelong, and by the look at that, I reckon we might get hit by a storm in the next half hour or so. I'm joined by my former teammate, Tim Watson, who on this day back in 1993 was named Father of the Year. Now, Tim, do you realistically give the Saints a chance?
Well, look, they've arrived in a really fit state. They're a confident side. They'd love to have ball out there. They'd love to have Dempster out there. But they appear pretty confident as an outlet, as an outfit. If they control the footy, they absorb the pressure, and they stay upright. I reckon they are a chance, but it's going to take a mighty effort.
They need a big effort from Cosy too, don't they, Tim?
Yeah, they do. He needs to stand up and support Nick Revolt out there today.
Well, Nick has started well. He won the toss. Now this is from the chopper, and that weather is really moving in. It's a peace super, as they say, and it's going to be pretty tough. Expect turbulence down below, but some up top as well. What a feeling of power for Jill. Turn the lights on. That'd be a terrific feeling. Wouldn't it, just to say that once in life? Turn the lights on.
Five Cats didn't play in the premiership last year. Varco, Taylor, Lonigan, Blake and Prismal. One of the strengths of Geelong has been their depth, and those five players have proven their worth to earn their spot in this side, but it's a step up. It'll be interesting to see how they handle this pressure.
No doubt too that both coaches would have said, let's get off to a good start, because if the weather does set in and you've got a couple of goals on the board early, it may be very handy later on in the match.
Okay, as they go, who's going to play on Rewald? I reckon they'll play Taylor on Rewald and try and just let the others float off, and we're about to find out because Rewald is about to head into the forward 50 area.
I'm just looking at you, Lee, and also Bucks. I'm thinking of the O2 Grand Final. The weather, does it remind you at all of that day?
Well, it's certainly unpredictable. Anything can happen.
There goes Taylor.
I think Taylor's your man, Lee.
You got him. Well, you got him in one.
Wow.
Well, what they tend to do is they play Taylor, I think, on the most dangerous opposition marking forward, which allows Harley to be just playing on the second, third, fourth, try and float off. And even though that the opposition forward, Rewald might kick 3 or 4, that defensive group, I think, backs itself as a group.
Big job for Taylor. Huge job for Taylor. When Harry met Nicky,
Gilbert's gone to Johnson.
Opening bounce of the first qualifying final. Umpire Kennedy does the business. Ottens taps it down. Del Santo could have been held. Hayes gets a hand pass away. Charging through the middle is Enright. Sweeping hand pass back to Harley. Now it's with Hunt. Peeling off to the opposite side is Mackey. Was intended for him. Poor kick though. Wilt got it. Hand passes to Graham. Coming through midfield, Graham inside the forward 50. Revolt, one he could have had. Getting back is Milne. 7 goals of his last appearance in the back, surely. Oh, no free kick. Well, a couple of chances there for the Saints. Won the mark, and then certainly that was a free.
Well, Dan, already the first surprise. We've got Jason Graham going to Gary Ablett playing an attacking role, got involved with that movement through the guts.
Ottens to Bartel. Sam Fisher, by the way, on Chapman early.
And Cameron Ling's gone to Del Santo.
Bartel wide. Ablett did very well. He got rid of Graham. He's got Saints all around him. It won't worry him. Kicks to Chapman. And Chapman quickly on. Johnson read it very well. He's dangerous from this spot. One bounce. The mind working overtime. Misses.
Oh, he had some options inside too, and it's one of those decisions whether you go for goal or actually you centre it. And
yeah, Lonergan rang from the goal square out towards centre half forward. He was on his own, but it's that he kicks those goals, Johnson.
Yeah,
I think you're happy to him take that half chance.
Goddard to bring it in then. Chip to the pocket. Montagna plays on. He played on before looking really. Nothing much ahead. Close to the boundary line. That's personal. King and Ottens, and the ball is out of bounds. Interesting too, Frank Costa said he called upon his supporters, Geelong supporters, not to boo Stephen King today. And that's good policy. He was delisted by the club. Nothing to do with him. He's a Saint now, and he's had a good season. Battles there, and there's going to be a free kick in front of the pack. It's going to Ablett, to Bartel. Heard the umpire. Selwood, remarkable season. Bartel's got it again.
Getting plenty of it too. Now Ling. Couldn't quite. Gets a second crack. And then found some space. Gets it to about 50. Chapman used his body well. Del Santo, King. Didn't panic. Did well. Sam Fisher got through heavy traffic. Graham again. So second disposal. Revolt wants it long and high. And Kosicki's back there as well. The Twin Towers. She had a lot of it, Revolt. And then Scarlett ripped it away from Kosicki. And Taylor with a steady boot finds Ling and Bartel. Yet another posse. Bad one, this one.
well, he just came on there. Ref Clark came off from McWalter straight onto the ground.
McWalter took the mark, gave it to Graham. Milne waits. Steps Ling, steps Corey. Corey a little annoyed that Ling wasn't chasing. Beautiful pass. Revolt's got 3 now. All of them, by his standards, eminently markable.
A little bit of nerves there, obviously. He's had the ball in his hands twice, on his chest once, but St Kilda really attacking the Geelong midfield here with their matchups. Graham on Ablett was one, Hayes on Corey another.
Revolt goes up, knocks it down. The bounce right on the 50. Corey. Milburn traps it. Wilt's got him. The release valve was in right. Taylor, Stokes, now Harley out of the back pocket. Clever kick, Milburn's away.
And with some time, Mooney right up the ground. He does this so effectively.
But they'll be happy with that, the Saints. Key forwards right up on the centre wing.
Lonigan, hard lead, good delivery. And then Lonigan quickly into Johnson in a one-on-one. Gilbert had to bring him down, and he did. You don't want Stevie slipping you, do you?
And that's going to be a big job. Gilbert, a relatively young player in the competition and in the game itself, coming across from rugby, but great tackle there, the exponent of the tackle.
Ablett read it best and then kicks the ball to Ling. Del Santo's got to get it through. Hasn't? Oh, yes, he has.
Well done. Under enormous pressure there, and Ling had the sit. Kept his feet. Give him enormous confidence.
Goddard towards the wing. Harvey coming across on the angle. Claimed immediately by Mackey. Jarred it loose. Corey Selwood. Quick thinking. Too quick, apparently.
He was initially going to let that go, but had a second thought.
That's how you get your confidence back.
Revolt's got it from Harvey. Not the first time. Searching kick inside the forward 50. Schneider, very clever. Very clever, just guarded the space. It's starting to rain.
That's a very big win, really, because Harley's on Schneider. They're obviously different types of matchup, but to beat Harley body to body in a marking contest for a guy that's a fair bit shorter.
Well, they brought him in because he's got finals experience. They recruited a player because of this situation.
This would be a tonic. First goal of the afternoon for him and for the Saints and their legion of supporters. Schneider puts it through. First blood from Kilda.
Well, Robert Harvey's one of the best in the business. He got the ball on the centre wing and he brings Nick Riewoldt into play. And it's a nice soft mark, and Nick Riewoldt was very nervous with his first three. There's the incorrect disposal by the umpire, but he put it on his chest, and all of a sudden Riewoldt's involved, and he gets it inside 50 to an unlikely person in Schneider. But he was involved. He was invited into this footy club because he had experience, and that's a great sign for the Saints.
Kicked 11 goals in the last 4 matches going in, Schneider. Almost 3 goals a game late in the season.
And as if the pressure of a final such of this nature isn't enough, the slipperiness of the conditions now will make goals even more worthwhile in gold. It was important for St Kilda to get the first.
After the Cats had had a couple of shots. So Jones from Hayes. Here is Schneider.
Handball.
Graham and Ablett.
Schneider's going to play a very important role. Tom Harley takes a lot of marks in defensive 50, just zoning off. He'll need to take him out of the play.
King Ottens.
Never dived on it. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
I wonder how long they'll keep Mark Blake on the bench. He'll be very, very keen to get his teeth into this game.
He's warming up as we speak, Ox. So you can see the space between this contested ball and the Geelong forward line. King belts forward. Group made a contest. Hunt couldn't quite get through. Well done. I think it was Goddard that got him.
Good tackle.
I think you'd say that St Kilda's first 5 minutes has been a real confidence builder for them. They're right into the game.
Interesting, Mackie came to that contest and then didn't really impact it. Just outside the 50, Bartell's been busy. Kicked through midfield. Helped on its way by Mooney, but leading back in the race is Fisher. Very unkind bounce. The footy barracks for the Saints. Eventually. They've got the numbers down there. Initially, it was barracking for the Cats. Chapman almost through. Corey. Still the Cats with a chance. Corey coughed it up. Hayes in trouble.
You just dropped that ball.
On the ball.
No, Lenny, no, you just dropped it. How many dirties
great.
call? None.
Just a great passage of play there.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
We'll see it here.
No, it's not, Lenny.
That's a very good decision. Didn't make
Put
contact.
him out, Joel.
It all started on that back flank where Bartel made the decision just to kick it forward. Don't try and hand pass it. It's a bit slippery. They adapt incredibly quickly to the prevailing conditions.
Paul Chapman then, directly in front, had a half chance. That ball bounced his way. But it bounced away from him. But from 50, he kicks it beautifully and splits the middle. Geelong in front.
The only thing I will say about that is if you're going to play that free kick, you're going to be playing a lot of holding the ball throughout the day because it's slippery conditions. Hayes didn't really have that much prior opportunity, put his hands up over the tackle, but the ball spilled free in the tackle. Great finish there by Paul Chapman. You know, he's a very straight, long kick. When the goals are around, he loves it because he takes the responsibility on his shoulders and generally finishes it off.
The last final we played at the MCG kicked forward in the grand final last year. 10 in that final series, Chappie. So Cats by a couple of points. Premiership players have kicked the first 2 goals in the match.
Different setup too by the Cats. Stokes has gone to centre half forward, just as a 1 out.
There is
Jones.
Sorry, Ox, there is Blake.
Doesn't have the ball, Jamie. Jimmy Bartel.
Already Bartel getting involved. Lee said about his quick kick from the stoppage. He's a very smart player and loves the wet weather, as Ox said too.
Mackie got on the end of it with an Ablett and Bartel mix. And then Johnson and Gilbert. And Johnson cleverly there. He is so smart. He puts that ball into Gilbert's boot.
He protected the space, didn't he? And he made something happen from nothing.
Centering kick, cut off by Kosicki. I reckon the next 5-10 minutes, tells a tale because Saints have been good. Geelong lead on the scoreboard. Let's see how long the Saints can go with them here. Taylor runs it out.
Well, I would have thought in general play they're more than matching them, Bruce, there. In and around the stoppages, it doesn't look like Geelong have got any particular dominance there, and they've been forward just as often.
Still down low. Now creates some run and space.
Wonderful pick up with the greasy football. Runs beyond the wing, searching kick. Johnson. Johnson had time to turn around and look. That's not wise. That's terrible. Not done by Blake behind. There are times and there are times, and that wasn't one of them.
Well, he knows he can't kick 50 metres, and he just wanted to get the ball on. He saw an open 50, but probably didn't see the play coming from his blind side, which was Blake to knock it through.
There were 3.
Hutchinson, in fact.
Goddard to bring it in. Geelong lead it by 3 points. Bartell 7 possessions so far. As Hayes drives it to the outer side. Ablett had 4. Great courage by Mooney going back, thumped it down. Prismal at close quarters. Joel Corey just flings it over the shoulder. Mooney crashes the pack like Chuck Liddell. Gives it across towards Johnson. Johnson too clever by half again. Coming away, it's Clark. Has it bounce up towards the wing and left it behind. Well done, Johnson. Fought back and won the footy. Milburn. Beautiful kick. Open goal beckons for Mackey. And the young South Australian hangs it out to the right.
Doesn't he love spitting into that middle part of the ground? He plays as a half-back flanker, but more often than not gets forward. And we see there maybe a little bit of early nerves and not being wise enough to acknowledge the conditions, trying to bounce that ball there.
He had to keep going, didn't he, Mackie? Could have run another 10 metres and made it a 40-metre shot.
And back to Xavier Clark for a moment. First game since round 7 at this level, so he'd love to have got an early touch there, wouldn't he?
And last time he played against Geelong, he got knocked out by Trent West, trying to chase as well. A little bit of lack of awareness, but he'll remember that.
Goddard. G. Schneider was good there. He's in close quarters, but he's done well. That's a nice kick to Gwelton. Revolt. Gee, they went for the same footy, and then Taylor just kept it in, and then kicks to Enright. Enright, switch up. Interesting here. Johnson, I wonder. I mean, we're seeing the best of him.
Well, he loves his ground. He loves the big stage.
He'll make the odd mistake, but he'll continue to make you smile, won't he? There's Milburn.
Mackey's gone forward.
Good on, please, Darren.
A few little different matchups that a lot of people wouldn't have thought of.
So Milburn very short and tight to Taylor.
Lucky to be 15. Closing them down well, St Kilda, going man on man, making sure that they've got a kick over the line.
Enthralling start. Ling under pressure. Tries to go back to Taylor. Gee. Ling gets the free.
Geelong will give that little handball all the time. They'll back themselves to be able to withstand that pressure of the tackle.
Well, the Sharon resembles a dynamite stick, and it was when it went to Ling moments ago. He's got it again now, in space this time. Towards half forward, stretching. Prismal takes the mark. 55 metres out. Stokes comes on a lead, and he's got it. Sharp angle.
And just beautiful passing. Really good timing of the leads.
Runs around across the body. This could bounce through. Well done, Gilbert. Like a soccer goalkeeper going down low to the right-hand corner, just edging the ball over the line.
One of the advantages of Geelong's forward line, they all lead. They don't actually wait for a key position player to lead. Even Stokes, who's their smallest forward, will get into that hole to make himself a marking option.
It's a good grab, isn't it?
And a good kick too, Ox.
Yeah.
Prismal's had to take his time to get into this team, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, often makes you a better player in the long run because you learn patience and you learn character.
And at the moment, he's probably keeping James Kelly out, who's, I know, been injured. And they have played together a bit this year, but you just wonder if there's room for everybody. Mooney did well. Here's Blake. This would bring the Cats' house down, but he hasn't done it. So you just wonder whether they'll pay for this at all. They've had a lot of shots.
Well, they've just dominated the last 5 minutes. They've started dominating clearances. It's 8-3 at the moment. They've started controlling the inside 50s 8-5.
So the temperature's been turned up on St Kilda here. Jones did well, but he's outnumbered. 3 to tackle him.
No chance at all. Nice tackle. Thanks, Clint.
Thought those 5 or 10 minutes would be important here. Now the Saints have got to hang on for dear life.
The problem when we look back over the season for the Saints, they do lapse. Their second quarters weren't great all year long. Just get the feeling that they've got to play this tempo all afternoon. We know the other crowd can. Harvey, not a good hand pass. Jones sold into trouble. Varco bearing down on Harvey, got the kick away. Del Santo, good grab.
Cameron right on it.
Del Santo could really do his stocks the world of good this afternoon if he fires.
See that last stoppage as the ball went back. St Kilda were trying to feed the ball back. Geelong were up on them and pressuring. I think that's what St Kilda need to do. Geelong on the other side.
Del Santo across the ground. Hodgson.
This is where they've had trouble. Just off half-back, getting this next kick as Geelong are rolling back as St Kilda are going forward.
Charlie Gardner against his old club. Had it punched away. Milburn camped in front. Hunt got it back from Mooney. Goes in very short to midfield. The hand pass from Lonigan. Kicked inside the forward 50 by Enright. Taken by Presmell. Twisted his ankle.
He's hurt. He's done his knee. He's in massive trouble.
Ablett off the ground. What a terrible blow for Presmell. He's down.
Into him.
Ball up.
Gary, throw ourselves out, please.
But a lot like a knee.
Trying to change direction.
We'll hope for the best for him.
No, that's not good. His legs collapsed underneath him.
Play on, play on.
They're playing on here, the umps, so Prismal not far away from here. Going to have to be a bit careful if the ball comes out.
Drag it back in, Stephen.
And of course, David would know all about this.
Just drag it back in. Drag it back in.
That was
Yeah.
If they do the stretch, he's obviously off for 20 minutes, so that's why it's a last resort.
Stephen.
Just looks so innocuous. Yeah, but it's generally the worst case scenario like in that situation.
Oh, no, that's almost a hyperextend where the ACL folds out in front and it guillotines your ligament. And we're hoping for the best, but that is not good. That's horrible.
How many times for you, Dave?
3, and one about 25 metres from there. That's horrible for a young man who's battled to get his opportunity, to be given a chance, and he knows. You can see the devastation. He knows that something's not right.
And he's been up and around as well. He's had the ball 2 or 3 times. Looked like he was in the game with that one-handed mark just before.
Let's go down to Ricky Olorenshaw, Rick.
As Ox mentioned a few minutes ago, talking about Brent Prismal, he's going to require patience and character because this looks like an ACL, probably the worst injury you can have in footy. You see him clutch his left knee straight away. The thing with Brent Prismal, he's actually out of contract as well as being talked of him changing clubs. So this is a big injury for himself and for the Cats.
Terrible timing.
Just played 5 games last year, 8 the year before, none at his first season, and he's played 10 of the last 12, including the last 7. He's just talking about him 5 minutes ago about breaking in and feeling really part of it.
Yeah, it's a massive blow.
So the Cats play with 21 from this point on.
Yep, and we know how fragile this competition is, and you only need a couple of injuries early on in the game, and then you become reliant upon few rotations. Oh, good luck for the young man.
So Geelong attacking Lonigan, clever. Johnson. He's missed a couple that normally he would kick.
And Lee, from a coaching perspective, the harsh realities are that you just move on, don't you? You've got 21 and you've got to look forward.
Unfortunately, worry about after the game now. There's nothing you can do in the meantime.
And Lee, with the amount of rotations we see in footy these days, what difference does 21 to 22 make early in a match?
Well, it can make a significant difference. Yes, it tends to be about 80 for the game.
Bartel getting so much of it. Corey to Mooney. There's 50.
He had too much pace up, Max. He couldn't put the brakes on. There was nothing malice in this, but he just couldn't. He needed a parachute to put out.
No, he had to pull up.
He couldn't. He was going too quickly.
There's only ever going to be one result when you attack a player. Just mark the ball that hard.
Should have taken an off ramp.
And so the Camster gets the goal.
Well, they got the ball outside, and what Geelong have been able to do is really put that zone in place. You'll see here, Max just can't slow up quick enough, which is unfortunate because it's almost a gimme goal. But it's that pressure on half back at the moment that Geelong are putting on St Kilda that almost making it impossible for them to penetrate. A bit like what Hawthorn did to the Doggies the other night. Very hard to break the wall.
Cam Mooney, his first goal. Max, very unhappy. Cam Mooney, one of the lucky men in AFL football. He played in a premiership side with North Melbourne in only his 11th game. And of course Geelong since. King waited, won it down. Hayes falling to the ground. Selwood again, reels it in. Gets it across to Bartel. Bartel is really hurting St Kilda. Mooney almost the mark. Jones, despairing lunge, missed him. Hodgson under pressure, looking for Jones, right on the goal line. Now Fisher, Sam Fisher out of defence. Kicks it beyond the 50. Xavier Clark will need to go. Stolen away by Rook. Two of the inclusions. Selwood under pressure. Bumbles a kick inside the forward 50. Del Santo off his step. Got it from Jones. Wonderful by Scarlett.
Eddie tried to hold him up, but he couldn't. Scarlett had some options. Big ball to be won here. Enright. Back to Rook. Gets rid of Clark. Gets rid of Gardner. Gets to Enright. Little give from Ottens. Ling goes to ground. Fishes it out. Hunt can nearly kick this. He hasn't quite got the buddy swerve though, but it won't matter. Your boy, Din, Jimmy.
He's remarkable overhead for a man that size, isn't he?
And this will be his 11th touch. Geelong's ability to stand up in a tackle is better than anyone else in the competition, and it's more even across their midfield, across their team than in any other club.
It's pouring with rain, and it might be pouring with goals pretty shortly, you reckon?
Well, he just plays a lot taller, doesn't he? And up against Montagna in the air, he's going to win all the way through. But it was just those plays through the middle of the ground where they were able to break the tackle time and time again. Max Rook, then it was Ling, and keeping the ball alive. They get the ball inside 50, and once again they become super dangerous. You put the ball up to Jimmy Bartel, and he's going to mark it.
And that's 20 goals for the season, the first time in his career, Jimmy Bartel. Terrific mark. 11 possessions so far, 2 clearances. And he is doing the business.
That's 10 scoring shots from 13-50 inside 50 dangerous times for St Kilda.
Umpire throws it up. Helped out of there by Hayes. In front of Jones. He's over the football. Varco is over him. Spills behind the pair. Harvey. Quick hands away by King. King and Ottens get tangled behind play as the ball is driven beyond the wing by Sam Fisher. Unkind bounce for Milne. Sliding in was Charlie Gardner. Close to the boundary line. Milne takes it across with the help of Mackey. All the fours. Boundary throw in then. About 80 metres around from St Kilda's attacking goal. They started well, but they're being tested.
Kicked the last 3 goals, 5 of the match. Geelong. McWalter inside to Harvey, and Harvey's kicked to Revolt or Kaczynski because he had a bit of it. Revolt can't control it. He's had an ordinary opening term. Goddard, Schneider, Hayes. It was touched off the boot. Front spot Mackey. He was manhandled by Gardner. He might be in stripe. He's gone. No, he's not.
Touched off there.
Be interesting to see how players adapt now. It's got quite wet out there, so whether they can actually cease the high handball and just play a bit of forward footy, wet weather footy.
Ottens, Scarlett, Stokes. Clever kick by Stokes. Got good meterage, and now Sam Fisher and Johnson corrals him.
There seems to be a train of thought in the football community that when it gets wet that it evens teams up, but I actually think it goes the other way. The smarter players, the more skillful, stronger bodies are generally better, and I think it falls in Geelong's lap.
Montagna after the boundary throw in towards half forward, knocked on its way by Schneider. Down goes Harry, holding the ball against Taylor. Revolt gets the free kick.
Put the arms up. Had a chance.
What you find the umpires, if you put your hands up in the tackle and you don't dispose of it, it's almost an automatic holding the ball.
Yeah, it is.
You've almost got to bring the ball in towards your body to get a bit of ball security until you know that you can actually dispose of it.
Remarkable last 15 minutes. It's like being at the lights and one of those vibrating Hummers pulls up alongside you. And your earwax runs. Geelong have certainly turned up the volume. Here's Revolt from just outside the 50. Gives it a ride. Hasn't got the carry. It's a lovely kick, but Otten stretches every sinew. Right on the line and takes the mark uncontested.
Well, because he just had to be body-on-body there, he either had to protect it through or go for the mark. Not staying in the contest long enough.
Johnson has a roving commission this afternoon. Deep in defence, deep in attack, just running the lines. And now Cameron Ling, the defensive side of the wing, kicks towards half forward. Mooney could have been held. Coming across on the angle, Raph Clark knocks it out of bounds. A boundary throw in as we go down to Ricky Ollerenshaw in the rain.
Just an update on Brent Prisnell, as we thought when he came off the ground. We thought he had an ACL, but there he is on the bench. No tracksuit top on, no ice on that knee. So perhaps the signs might be okay for Brent Prisnell. Fingers crossed.
Gee, Ablett was clever there. He just sort of rashed that footy to the line, didn't he?
I suspect that's a bad sign. No ice.
Yeah. I probably intend to agree with you there, Lee. Just King and Ablett having a bit of a argument out there.
Selwood fetching it as he so often does to Ling, to Ablett, to Harley. They backtrack, but they're doing it with confidence. And Harley's floating kick, Harvey almost, and Varco down low. Threw it back to Johnson. Gee, Johnson was good there. He just rode everything and got it to Milburn, to Mackie. Mackie's soft kick to a dangerous spot. Varco pushing it wide. Mooney pushing to Varco. Varco instinctively. Johnson outnumbered. Raph Clark put Blake under some pressure. Back to Goddard. A cool head required.
Goddard goes wide. Milne, an indication of how slippery it is.
Contested possessions at 27-11, Den, and when there is a ball in a 50-50 situation, you can just see that Geelong player is more committed and more desperate to get to that ball than his St Kilda opponent.
St Kilda just taking the steam out of things here. Gilbert's got the football, got it from Goddard. The defensive side of the wing. He'll bring it across to Blake. Now, Graham is running hard, but that's got a danger attached to it. In shorter. The mark is taken by Sam Fisher. He's right on the wing. They need a late goal. They trail by 19. Pushing up the ground, King. And the crowd forgetting the advice of their president. At least some of them. King kicks towards the 50. Revolt needs a mark. Taylor got a fist in there and denied him. It's out of bounds. Well, Harry, his baptism of fire is going okay. Boundary throw in, right half forward.
He's the only player off their national draft that's played a game this year, Taylor, and he's played just about all of them. He's been terrific. Gwilt and Ling. A couple of interesting hairdos came together there, didn't they?
Yes.
Corey, back to Ling.
The shag and the fuzz.
Back to Del Santo. Who's the fuzz?
The fuzz is Gwilt.
Gotcha. Back inside. Here's Raph Clark running hard now. Can he deliver? Looking for his brother. Outnumbered. Hayes, oh, well played, Harley. To Milburn, the two most experienced cats together, and here's Varco away.
Running up towards the wing, comes back inside, angling the lead, coming across. Lonergan missed a chance for Blake, got a hand pass away. Well done, Graham, alongside the centre circles towards half forward, and Taylor. Well, so far, he's been a star back there in defence. Bomber Thompson handed him responsibility this afternoon, and my word, he's grabbed it. Out of defence, a little chip to midfield. Coming up is Chapman. Good mark in these conditions. Harvey taking his legs. Chapman's got the free inside the centre square. All to do for the Saints in the second term. Historically, not their best this season. Looking for traction. McWalter did well enough. Knocked it to Harvey. Kozetzky dragged down. Wasn't penalised. Picked up by Enright. Gets a hand pass to Scarlett. Scarlett inside the centre square to half forward. Intended for Mooney wide of the mark. Sam Fisher. Varco bearing down. Still bearing down. Jones kept his head. Del Santo feeds it back. Blake in defence. Short. Juggled by Hayes.
Gary, here please, play on.
They did well there, the St Kilda. They were under pressure. Del Santo playing a deep sweeping role at the moment. A couple of bounces. Can they conjure a goal? They need something to go in at quarter time. Gilbert, Hayes, there's some space through the centre. Can he find a target, Hayes? Well, that's not a great kick. They might though through Milne. Still with Stevie. Goes from 55 and hooks it terribly.
The kick from Hayes wasn't a bad one. I reckon he realised that the players were cut, and then he actually saw someone late. It looked horrible, but I think it was almost effective.
King in the middle. Milled out of fresh air. And Taylor.
I think it's pretty evident that the Geelong defenders are guarding space when they come forward. They know that they've got pressure from their midfielders, where on the other end, the Saints are man-to-man with their Geelong opponents. And although Geelong aren't hitting many targets when they go forward, the ball is generally in a dangerous space, and there's a contest, and they love that.
But they haven't honoured some of the leads too from St Kilda, and if you don't honour the leads, what Geelong players do, they say, well, they're not going to go to my man, I'll get off and I'll zone the space.
So I guess in the end, after half an hour, nothing much has surprised us. I mean, the Saints came out their first 5-10 minutes promising, but that scoreboard tells a tale. 10 shots to 2, 25-7. This is finals football. Had a couple of seasons in that first quarter, didn't we? Melbourne's weather, 25-7, all the scoring at Geelong's end. And they lead it by 18. Let's go down. There was a big injury in that opening term. Down to you, Tim and Ricky.
Yeah, an absolute shocker, Bruce. We saw Brent Prisnell go down in that first quarter with an ACL injury. He's currently on the bench, looking very dejected. Got a compression splint on that knee just to keep the swelling down. But the medical staff haven't confirmed it yet, but it's a typical sign of an ACL. There he is in the hands of the physio getting his boot taken off. Classic injury. You see there his right knee buckled just at that moment when he went to turn. It's always a way there to do an ACL, so terrible news for Brent Prisnell. Tim, you've kept your eyes on Cameron Lynch in that first quarter.
Yeah, we saw a shot of him with Bomber Thompson there at quarter time too. Bomber Thompson went over and had a couple of words to him. He's been playing on Del Santo. They took Del Santo off the ground, and Cameron Lynch took a long time then after that when Del Santo came back onto the ground to find him. Del Santo's taking him into the back half. And I think Bomber Thompson's just wary that when they do make that move again during the second quarter, which they will, that he has to find him a little bit quicker than what he did in that first quarter.
Thanks, Tim. So the Saints got the opening goal, and after that it was pretty much one-way traffic. Geelong really got their mojo working. And the first few minutes in this second term are going to be vital as far as St Kilda are concerned. They've got to do what they did in the first quarter and really corral the football and work as hard as they did. Those two men, just par for the course. Beware of complacency. Start of the second term. 3-7-1-1. Geelong finishing the opening term on a roll. Blake goes up. Kazitsky really touched the football in the first term. The two big names didn't. Selwood charging through, knocks it forward. Hayes gets back. Kick was smothered by Ablett. Hayes goes again, did well. Fisher, his 10th possession down towards half forward. Harley was up through his fingertips. Taylor flicks it away very quickly to Mackey. Mackey's kick not good. Bounces to Joel Corey though. Back to Mackey. Mackey to Milburn. They've got the numbers again wide. They elect to go forward though. Ablett takes the mark on his chest.
Their foot passing is beautiful at the moment in slippery conditions.
So Ablett gets it down as far as he can. Kazitsky cuts it off.
Well, it was.
Well, he was going for distance, Ox. Raf Clark wide. How do they penetrate though? This is the important.
They've got to take a risk. They've got to take off from their the forwards and really create from down back.
So they've switched it up. Montagna on the end of a Hudson hand pass. Numbers all with Geelong. Taylor just pushed it forward. He's doing well. Milburn, not enough pressure. He just got up from his knees, the old fella, and ran away from them and gave it to Mackey, who finds Blake. And this will be interesting. It's a 2-on-2 forward line now. Front spot, Lonergan. Mooney will be the target, and no Ottens it is, and Blake fell over at the wrong time.
Too strong, too big, and too quick. The movement via Geelong gave the St Kilda defence no time to get back, and if you do take off and the ball gets turned over, that's where you can be opened up.
No pressure on the other side to Milburn.
Great contest on that back flank. Taylor left Rewalt, made himself third man up, got the extra play at the contest, and from that first point Geelong won the footy and obviously maintained possession.
It's been a good goal kicker, this Ottens over the stretch. Averages more than a goal a game. Classic style, straight as a die.
Yeah, good call, Lee. There's no doubt that they definitely backed themselves, the Geelong defenders. We discussed that in the pre-match. Harry Taylor, the youngest of them, and playing probably the most important role on Nick Riewoldt, had the confidence to leave and going and contest that ball in the air. And then once they do that, they're generally very good at transition. Cardinal sin, really, to lose your feet in any contest. And Otten's an uncontested mark and good finish.
Margin 24 points. Here's Tim.
Well, Bomber Thompson has enormous faith in Harry Taylor. Scarlett's come from the ground because Ross Lyon's gone with a much smaller St Kilda forward line at the moment. So Taylor has actually stayed with Nick Riewoldt and gone to full back on him while Scarlett has a breather.
Rucks go at it. Coming up the ground, Gilbert did well. Little backhander. McWalter towards half forward. Wilt leads in the race. He's got the ball just inside the 50. Then he dropped it, slapped out of there twice by Schneider. Rook in the opposite direction. Milburn. Only 11 Geelong players have played more games than him as he drives it towards the outer side. Montagna almost being frisked out there by Enright, and the ball ricochets, unluckily for Enright, out on the full. Lee Montagna hasn't seen a lot of it. Kicks inside the forward 50. Third man up. Mackey almost the mark too. Hunt emerges with it along the boundary line. Mackey threw it in reverse, and Hayes threw him.
If you are going to beat Geelong, you're going to have to nail tackles. We'll just see here. And there it is, out of bounds on the full. Too many tackles from St Kilda at the moment are missing.
Del Sando and Ling.
And that one doesn't miss. And that's the example where Geelong just don't let go. Riewoldt missed Hunt only a couple of seconds ago. They're the ones that really count in wet weather footy.
Tim talked about Ling and... That's in the back, is it?
Yep.
So Montagna getting a bit of it in the last minute or two after a slow first quarter for him.
One thing Geelong have got the ability to do is get numbers back, but they still maintain their forward structure. They've still got 3 or 4 players in front of the ball here, but they've filled in the holes in the St Kilda forward line.
Low percentage kick to McWalter. Strange target inside 50, and then Ling bangs it back. Johnson might have been held on to. Graham Ablett closing very fast. It was Chapman, I should say. Well done, Jones.
Slips away a hand pass. Del Santo goes to half forward then. Eddie takes the mark right on the 50. Milne offers. Riewoldt drops back. Needs to go to Riewoldt. There is space at the back. He'll get a one-out contest here. Riewoldt, well, missed it. And I think his cause wasn't helped by Taylor falling over. Kick comes out. Hayes will send it back in. Short one, just outside the 50.
They've got to find other options other than Riewoldt because it's becoming predictable and players are just playing off him. So they need to honour leads from other players inside St Kilda's 50.
Had he held on to a few, it might have been different. Montagna goes again. Riewoldt is up. Hands to it again. Couldn't mark it. And look at that collection of cats behind the pack. Blake, not the best man at finesse. Riewoldt, as though it was a foreign object to him. Coming through his Selwood, flings it back to Harley. Across the line from Hunt, and Nick is really out of sorts.
Well, I think there's been a lot of fumbling from the St Kilda players. We know that these conditions are quite slippery. As we see here, another big fella unable to grab it cleanly, but either in the air or on the ground, the Cats are a lot cleaner generally than the Saints are.
Chapman. Taylor's little give to the running Ablett. Back to Taylor. He's been the big story, hasn't he, Taylor?
Yeah.
Lonigan at centre wing. Well, Ablett, just a look away handball. He felt in right there, but Milne was able to cut it off. And you do feel as if the Saints, they just need some inspiration here. Good tackle by McWalter.
And strength by Ablett.
Montagna getting a little bit of the footy now, pushing it forward. Bartel Brought down in the tackle by Jones, and then Blake front on.
The last 5 minutes, their tackling has really increased, and they haven't got through, so
Well done.
They just can't crack the forward 50. They've been inside about 13 times for just a couple of scoring shots. They just can't break the Geelong defence.
Bounce on the outer side wing, backhanded by Blake. Beautifully done. Into the path of Enright. Kicks inside the forward 50. Sam Fisher comes to meet it. Smashes it out. Hayes. Goddard now pushing up through midfield. Searching kick to half forward. Revolt gets her one out. Knocks it down to his own advantage. And then stolen off his fingertips by Mackey. He can't take a break. Taylor, Bartel under pressure. Well done, Schneider. Knocks it forward. Milne picks it up. They've got their second goal. Schneider involved in both.
Well, another tackle inside of their 50, and that gave St Kilda the goal because they brought the ball out. They kept it alive again. You only need half a chance. In finals, you take those chances, but the pressure. Good tap away there. Good snap by Milne. They just seem to have lifted a little bit here, St Kilda. Their intensity and going at the hips.
So Milne gets the goal they needed, Tim.
Yeah, that's a Winter-Ross line, getting that smaller forward line on. Now, what he actually has there is 5 of the 6 blokes he's playing in the forward line can apply tackling pressure, and that's why they coughed the ball up there in Geelong.
I reckon Jones's last 5 minutes have been big for the Saints.
Super important.
Joel Corey's ball.
Joel Corey. Joel Corey. Time back. Clear away, guys. Clear away. Clear away.
Heard the umps. Corey pushes wide.
That was a non-officiating umpire too, so he called that from a long way off.
Stokes wide again.
About 2 metres.
Mooney's happy to get as far away from goal as you like. That kick not great. Giablet with courage though. Took a couple out, and then Johnson centering ball. Chapman tried to get rid of Gilbert. Kazitsky got it from Raf Clark and goes bang with a long one. Out into the sunshine. Hunt on the up. Milburn. Corey stretching over the top to Enright. And then Corey, Enright, not such a good kick. Stokes went to ground. Gilbert, Fisher can't get it back far enough. Corey had a fumble. Again, the tackle didn't quite stick. And then Milburn centering ball's a beauty to Rook.
One thing Geelong do is they keep their width across half back and across the middle. If you're going to lateral to them, here Rook was the guy to receive it in the corridor. Mackey was actually on his right, so if they wanted to come wider again, they're there. And when you keep that width, it actually creates a little bit more space through the corridor as well.
Let's see if he can finish here. He doesn't. And it's behind. Just feel like the next 5 minutes again, the next goal, if the Saints get the next one, there could be a little change of momentum here. They've held on well the last 5 minutes.
And they've thrown a bit at them too, the Cats.
And during the Saints' momentum surges, though, Geelong hold. During Geelong's momentum surges, St Kilda can't.
Bartel again. Another mark.
Chapman's free.
Taken 3 marks all over his head, Bartel. Here's Ling, got it from Scarlett. They can goal square. He's kicked a goal.
And he is a unique player, Bruce. Cameron Ling, his ability to stop his player and still be effective in and around the contest and with the possession getting is definitely first class in the competition. He started his junior career as a full forward. He was a bit tubby, didn't have much of a tank, used to get out of the goal square and that was about it, but geez, he's transformed himself into a brilliant midfielder in all areas.
Well, speaking of guys that do it different, Bartel takes marks like very few people for his size, and Ling finishes off.
Well, if I were Del Santo, I'd be getting Ling into defence, because if you get him anywhere near the forward half for Geelong, he'll kick goals on you.
There's Luke Ball and David Armitage.
Maguire was there 43-10 Ling since the start of last year.
He's unbelievable.
Took him a while to work him out as a player. You want him to play half-back flank, Lee, and try and get him up on the leg.
Yeah.
Clark to Goddard. Harvey scratches it forward. Milne did really well there. He pushed them out of the way. Harley held up by Gwilt. Revolt just pushed out of the way. Ling looks for free. I don't think it was there. Good umpiring, I reckon.
Yeah, really good umpiring. He threw his head back.
Thanks, James.
And he just saying he got one on the chin. Oh, maybe he did.
Second look, eh?
Well, we get the advantage of that. The umpires do not.
Absolutely. Joel, hey, Lee.
Joel Selwood getting tangled up there. Had a Barney with his brother Adam in that last qualifying game against the West Coast Eagles. Parents would have been mortified. Selwood goes down, strong tackle, didn't have the football.
Never took possession, Nick.
Selwood left half back then.
Rewalt's had 3 touches. He's probably touched the ball about 15 times.
And his opponent's just come off too, Harry Taylor. So Revolt might be free.
Poor kick directly to King. Chips it out wide. Del Santo will get some separation. Just dropping back. He's forward of the wing. Now Revolt is up ahead. Harvey is short, half volley, and it spills out of bounds. That was a rather casual kick.
Well, he couldn't go inside 50 because Mackie had dropped back inside Milburn, and there were just too many Geelong defenders.
You've got to look at it, St Kilda, a side that's working their guts out, but they just really haven't got enough forward power to look like they're going to trouble the scoreboard too much.
Do you know, a moment ago, Del Santo had 2 choices. He went to the safe one. He had Eddie 40 metres away in a much better position and wasn't prepared to take the risk. And it's a beautiful kick. That was their one chance to penetrate in that play, and that didn't happen.
And we saw in the first quarter, Harry Taylor hit Paul Chapman on the lead with 3 St Kilda blokes all around him. The Cats do take those risks, and they've got supreme faith in each other.
You've got to dare against the Cats, I reckon. You've got to be as daring as they are. And then back yourself in. Ablett to a Johnson one-on-one with Clark. Johnson round the body, floating kick. Lonigan there, getting back Gilbert to help Hodgson. Chapman, well done, Gilbert.
That was Steve Johnson's 6th contested possession. Joel Corey's had 6 as well. Jim Bartell with 5. They lead contested possessions 55-30 against St Kilda today.
Martins directs it down behind Johnson, almost got through. Del Santo hanging on for dear life. Xavier Clark's over the football, Ling is over him, and the umpire will call for it.
As soon as he got it. He was tackling as soon as he got it. He had no poor opportunity.
That's clever. Del Santo, though, with the nous to peel off, and he did it quickly, and the tackle stuck. This kick from Ablett, very wide, just sneaking it through for a behind. Increases the lead. It's out to 25 points now. On balance of play, I guess you'd think it'd be greater.
Looks easy what Johnson did, but running from the defensive side of the contest through the congestion and taking the ball on the way through is much more of an art form than it looks.
So Harvey in short. Had a lot of chances to set up from a kick in Saints today. 5-9 to 2-2. But again, because of Geelong's inaccuracy, the Saints are really 2 goals away from sort of being in, and are they?
Yeah, and considering it's 14 shots to 4. So they're still in it, but they've got to start taking a risk. They've got to believe that they can create something.
Well, there's a good sign, Ox. Something stuck for Revolt. He's had a quiet start. Harvey dumped after the goal as he kicked, and he's in a bit of trouble here, Harvey. Trying to pick himself up. Here's Lonigan with a bit of time. Johnson trying to improvise. Varco free kick. No, it was held on to Ling. Does he get to Ablett? No, he goes back, and then Corey loads up to the goal square. Del Santo.
And the 2 marks that Nick Riewoldt has taken have been both up on the wing, as we see Josh Hunt hit Harvey there. When you're concentrating on executing the kick, you leave yourself a little more open, and Hunt took advantage of it there.
Montagna then.
This is what Geelong allow you to do, go into the pockets and then just squeeze you.
Out of the back pocket, a driving kick towards the outer side. Now King will get a free.
Yes, give it up.
He's battling hard so far this afternoon.
Certainly is.
Former
Big job.
Skipper of the Cats. Sam Fisher, a lot of the football across the ground of Blake. Hodgson presents. But the frame of Mooney also presented right in front of Blake. Stifled the kick. Awkward half volley. Well picked up by Fisher, but then he kicks it out of bounds. very untidy.
Fantastic forward pressure.
Max, watch me. Max, 2 minutes
Ablett
back,
with the
please.
football, 65 metres out. Play on's the call. It was touched. Oh, great body work by Johnson. Spins around. Mooney takes the mark. Don't do that. It was cocked and loaded, but it didn't go.
They never rest, the Geelong players. When the ball's not in their area, they're already positioning to make sure that they're ready when it does. On that occasion, Mooney and Stokes, Chapman and Varco were in the same area, but they split. Mooney and Stokes went deep. Chapman and Varco actually, Johnson and Varco actually split Sam Fisher at the front, and then they were able to get it in and take that contested mark in front of Gilbert.
As straight as Dr. Phil. Through it goes. And Geelong kick away now, up by 32 points.
Well, some of these stars now starting to get their hands on the footy.
He started that too, Ox. It was his effort on Blake that Lee talked about.
That body use is fantastic, isn't it? Where Johnson is just able to ease his opponent out of the position where the ball's going, see the drop of the footy, and that creates it.
And that's being proactive. When the ball's coming into your space, you're making the play rather than letting someone dictate terms. They're dictating what's happening out there at the moment.
Let's go down to you, Rick.
Just to make matters worse for St Kilda, Robert Harvey's brought himself off the ground after a heavy collision with Josh Hunt. Couldn't get his breath back and also got some sore ribs. So he's just having a breather at the moment just to try and recuperate from that hit.
Mooney, the multiple goal scorer, both his goals basically from the square, right in front. Geelong building again from half-back. Bartel gets it from Corey. Kick wide. Johnson just so creative across, well, half forward, centre wing, half back, depends where he is.
I thought we saw just a good example of the way Geelong worked the ball across half back. They're under pressure, but this guy, their team, I think it was Milburn, just stood still when they're under pressure, flicked the ball back to him.
Their orientation is just so good. That one spills out. Kazitsky, free kick.
It's not only their orientation, just their general support for each other. They've always got numbers, so they know if they do go back lead that there's someone there
waiting.
Max!
Kazitsky goes out wide. This is Goddard. Kazitsky, 6 possessions so far.
Got to go
Short
now.
one from Goddard. Jones has been a battler. Sends it inside the forward 50. Revolt is out, number 3 on 1. Well, 4 counting the man in front of the pack in right. Now pushed in the back is Chapman.
Thanks, Lee.
Well, just their stars getting their hands on the footy. Bartel's at 18, Steve Johnson 12, 13 to Corey, 16 to Ablett. So all their good players getting it.
Harley, Scarlett, now Mackie. Still greasy, as you can see. That ball skidding on the turf as he tried to bounce it. Scarlett, wrong foot's Mill. Ambitious pass. Lonergan on the lead. Crumbing it behind is Gilbert. Sweeping hand pass. Hayes. Graham back to Hayes. Hayes arches the back, almost through. Goddard in desperate trouble now. And out of desperation, tried to give it back to Hayes. Picked up by Corey towards half forward. Knocked away by Sam Fisher. He's playing a wonderful game back there. Slapped out of the congestion by Stokes. Or was it Bartel? It's Bartel. Head down after the footy again. Jones trying to chop him off. Finessing out there is Blake. Oh, terrific stuff. It's going to be a free kick. Stokes will get the free kick for a push in the back. He plays on immediately. Out of the bright sunshine. Inside the forward 50 will almost. Raph Clark flew from behind and punched it away from Johnson.
He's got amazing ability, Johnson. They say keep your eyes on the footy, but he always has to look who's around him and then gets his eyes back onto the footy. So he knows where his opponents are.
Hayes searching for it. Hayes was a prominent figure a moment ago when the Saints tried a bit of Geelong footy in the middle of the ground. Those handballs to pressure, and this Geelong were able to make them turn over.
No one does it better than Geelong.
No. Mackie, Xavier Clark's had a very quiet start.
I think one of the keys to that, we have discussed it already, is that they do have targets that keep width. And if you keep width, you actually find more space through the middle. Geelong do it very well. St Kilda then had lots of players through the middle, but no bailout option if they got under too much pressure.
And the Cats almost entice you to tackle them, don't they? They'll either break it or create with that tackle. Johnson's handball was held up.
Just, you mentioned Xavier Clark before. It's always a risk bringing a player back in after such a big break. He hasn't played since round 7, and you know that he's going to be a little bit rusty. And in a final against the best side in the comp, it's always a massive risk.
Well, they had the one injury, didn't they, coming in Dempster.
Yep.
Here's Corey. Gee, too easy. Just shrugged them off and then kicks. And Ottens was able to get off.
I think that point about Xavier Clark, the problem is you can't send into the AFL and say, can we play 18 aside this week? We've got to pick 22.
Exactly. Exactly.
And this was a brilliant kick. He knew that Ottens had front position, but Corey just whacked it straight out in front of him. Ottens smart enough to protect that space and then just push off Hudson and go to the ball at the last moment.
He's a highly skilled kick, is Ottens.
Well,
he's got a couple.
The space that was in front of Ottens is the impressive thing from Geelong. They don't clutter it up. And you'll see here where the ball goes in. Corey broken a tackle there. But it's just that space there that allows you to work into. And as a forward, when you've got places to move, you've got options, which makes your defender really antsy about where he is and where he has his starting position.
And St Kilda are playing very tight, which provides that space for their opponents as well.
52 plays 14, Tim.
Selwood's been picked up by McQualter. They both left the ground. Then Selwood came back on without McQualter, immediately involved in 2 passages of play. That's exactly why he needs to be tagged heavily this afternoon.
4 minutes till half-time. The rain is gone for the moment. Good bounce from umpire Kennedy. Another ruckman touched it on the way up. Kaczynski out of the congestion. Well, plenty of Geelong players up there. Over the footballer, Gardner trying to knock it goalward. And there's going to be a free kick to the Saints. Xavier Clark, the man we spoke of just moments ago, has a very important kick.
Interesting choice by Harley. He tried to mark third up instead of spoil, but given he marks third up so well, it's hard to criticise that decision.
Well safe.
Sorry, Dan.
Go ahead,
I was going to
John.
say, he's so rusty. He hasn't had a kick yet.
No.
And we'll see, after not playing since round 7, just how rusty he is.
He's had as many as Carl Dittrich this afternoon. And he comes 35 metres out. And he's got it. Just.
Well, it's not a bad way to start your afternoon then, even though it's towards the end of the first quarter.
He's
with a goal.
He's a bit late.
He's actually had 2 contested possessions, so work that out. He's had one disposal, a kick for a goal, and 2 contested possessions. He's been interchanged 5 times, so he's been on and off. He's played 32 minutes. He's had a chance to be involved in the game, but once again, we talk about the importance of depth in a game of football. You do rely on your last 4 or 5. Xavier Clark needs to stand up.
Both, well, certainly, both teams with an extra defender at the moment.
They look like they need that bit of good fortune to score, don't they? Free kick, crumb goal or something. They just don't look like they're able to earn any shots in that forward 50.
So they got 1. And they'll need a couple more before half-time. Del Santo and Ling.
Well, Nick Del Santo, he's had the 10 touches. Ling's had, well, Ling's kicked a goal, but he's also had 12, so honest to him at the moment.
Enright had to search for it, and Hayes probably got over the back of Rook. Gilbert picked it up on the left foot wide. Revolt and Taylor. Nick's just having one of those days so far.
St Kilda have dropped Goddard back as a spare defender, but unfortunately they'll be Geelong counterpart, either Milbourne or Harley.
Milbourne's the one.
Just saw Lonigan a moment ago. Look away handball from Milbourne to Selwood. Now Jones with a chance. Couldn't take it cleanly. Varco to pressurise him. Still in play. Now Bartel runs it over.
It's always interesting when to put a loose man back. St Kilda have obviously decided to do it, but it does give the opposition the one down the other end. It becomes a question of who can maintain possession better because you're going to be outnumbered when you go forward.
Bartel dug it out again. Ling, so 20 possessions now to Jimmy. Selwood down towards half forward. Awkward half volley for Stokes. Socked away by Eddie. Hablitz over the football, went to ground. Fisher again, Sam Fisher. That was terrific. Knocked it out. Harvey's kick just beyond the wing, taken by Charlie Gardner. Back it comes to Del Santo. cruising through midfield. Now here's a chance. It's taken by Gilbert. Oh, wonderful desperation. Mackey diving across his boot. Scarlett knocks it out of there. Milne is tackled. Applies a tackle of his own on Hunt. And we'll have a ball up 40 metres out.
Well, it's not often you have the foot in your hands and you lay a tackle. That's exactly what Milne did.
Yeah, the mother of invention, don't they say? Desperation. Harvey. Well, there's Jimmy again. So what's he had? 20, 11 and 9. It's almost as if he attended St Kilda's team meeting.
Didn't he? He's had 8 of those contested.
This is where they need another free kick, I reckon. Jones, they just need something scrappy to happen for a goal. Scarlett. Back to Stokes. Danger. Revolt almost. Contested footy. Taylor. Graham versus Varco. Graham pushing. Fisher, Varco. Ball comes loose. Graham. Clark. Still with Clark. He wanted Revolt to run for him. It's like Nick's just reprogrammed the wrong way so far. That was better. Fisher. Harvey getting a fair bit of it now. Kicks to a hot spot. Gardner and Harley. Good mark.
And
That's why he didn't spoil before, because he normally takes those marks, doesn't he?
that contest is Tom Harley to a T.
Yeah.
He's taken more marks from opposition kicks than any other player in the competition this year, and that's because he actually backs himself in those situations.
Again, a great kick from Taylor to Selwood.
Gee, he worked hard to get that then, Selwood.
I know we're banging on about Revolt a bit, but he's just things are not happening, are they?
No.
It's as if he just has to reprogram at half-time and go again here.
Yeah, it's difficult when he's single-handedly pulled this club into the position that they're in through his good form, and he would have expected a lot here this afternoon to be the leader, but he just needs to relax. There's a lot of other players out there that can share the burden with him.
They do rely on him, don't they? So the Cats running it down, and they're going to have a good lead at half-time. Can have a 5-goal break. And they've played well.
Well, Milburn coming in for number 17. So they're racking up a lot.
Well, that's the last play. It's the Saints' lowest first-half score in 2008. They do that to you, Geelong. They make you nervous. They make you make mistakes. Not only do they kick goals, they prevent you from doing the same.
Well, I think many people would have expected it. Many people would have been hoping that this wouldn't be the case, but they're a good side. And you don't go through a season only losing one game without being damn good.
Look, the only thing, they're 2 goals away, the Saints.
Yep.
Because it's a low-scoring game. 2 goals away from making it a lot tighter. It's 52-20. Half-time, this is finals footy.
The margin 32 points at half-time. Back come the Cats then. 7-10 to 3-2. Jimmy Bartell, 20 possessions so far. Still a bit of gloom in the distance, but certainly I think the worst of the rain may have passed. But I'm no expert. Ablett 16, Milburn 16, other good performers for Geelong. For St Kilda, well, harder to find their best performer, Sam Fisher, but after him and his 17 possessions, there's a bit of a gap. As we go down to the boundary, Tim Watson has been watching very closely, and the man in his sights has been Joel Selwood.
Yeah, he's a good old-fashioned footballer, isn't he, Joel Selwood? He's a footballer's footballer. He was picked up by McQualter in that second quarter. It's a pretty hard tag too, and he went off the ground at one stage, came back on. McQualter didn't go to him then. Gilbert went to him, but he's very much an inside footballer. And interesting contrast between him and watching Nick Del Santo in that first quarter. Nick Del Santo tries to get away from his tag and find some space. This bloke Selwood goes as hard as he possibly can at the contest and tries to win the ball inside. Now, Rick, you had a good look at the Cats at half-time. What did you find?
Yeah, I actually walked off the ground with the Cats and down their tunnel, and the buzzword was pressure. That's what they kept talking about. They said you've got to apply more pressure to the Saints because they do cough the ball up. The amazing stat is that St Kilda have only taken 1 mark inside their forward 50 against the Cats 8. And I think it's because Geelong applied so much pressure to the ball carrier and kicking the ball into the 50.
And the good news is there's more rain on the way too.
Tim He's loving it down here. Forgot his jacket.
Of course, coming in, we thought marking inside the 50 might be a strength for the Saints, given Kosecki started at full forward.
Well, one change here. Del Santo's gone out of the middle. He's gone to centre half forward. Ling's going to follow him, and Eddie's gone into the midfield for the Saints.
And Rewald out on the wing.
Yeah.
And he was the other man inside the forward 50, but so far just 4 possessions for St. Nick. Started the second half then at the MCG. The Saints with a battle on their hands. Well done again by King to Hayes. Graham too long, taken down by Varco. In goes Gwilt. He's tackled by Corey.
I don't mind the move of Nick Rewalt. St Kilda went inside their forward 50 17 times and only scored 5 times. So it can't be any worse from an offensive perspective. Let's get your best player up and around the ball and see if you can have an influence on getting it inside 50 more often.
It's always an interesting call for that to make by Ross Lyon, because you know that Rewald, really, he's the most likely to kick you 6 goals. But as you said, it's not happening, so we might as well change the flow of the game, which is what he's done.
So King against the man he edged out in last year's grand final team. Joel Corey spinning, forcing it forward. Gilbert's in trouble. Brilliant pick-up. Selwood hand passes, gets it out to Bartel. That was wonderful stuff. And now there's a hold on Mooney. And that's deserving of a goal. Selwood to Bartel. He threaded the needle.
He's clearly grabbing his arm, mate.
It seemed there was no way through with that ball, but he found one.
He had 3 goes at it, Denny. He went it through once and the ball got stripped out of his hands. He didn't, as Tim said, he didn't run through thinking he was going to get a forward possession. He came back to the contest the second time, got dispossessed, and the third time he got Bartel in the space.
Good afternoon to Bryce and Marie. Kick from Mooney. Just sneaks it through for a behind.
The Saints have already made a change. Montagna just came off. Xavier Clark coming on, so obviously Ross Lyon wasn't happy with the matchup. And lucky for the Saints that Mooney missed there, because it would have been getting into really shaky territory up around the 40-point margin.
And Selwood wasn't happy with Hayes a moment ago and vice versa after that play. So the Saints trying to build here, trying to get not only clean ball but penetrating ball. Milne gives a free kick away, but the mark paid anyway. Enright, slow ball inside, but nobody went to Mooney. And
Geelong were actually playing a full 18-man zone against the kick-ins, which I think every second team's doing it now. I reckon next year all teams will be doing it, because it's a pretty effective tactic.
Let's see how Mooney does here. And again, another behind. So 2-2 to Mooney, 7-12 to the Cats. All the scoring shots.
Well, 19 shots to goal compared to 5. Probably shows their dominance, really.
And that's 19 from 29 inside 50s. It's just under 70% conversion, which
it's good. If you can get up in the 60s, you're doing pretty well.
They make teams feel helpless, I reckon, don't you?
But the problem is 42 to 74 in contested footy. We heard Dean Laley speak last night against the Swans. There was 50 to 70, and he said with that sort of rate you're not going to win.
Well, pressure. Mooney quickly on. Lonergan drops it, but he still might kick a goal, but he doesn't. So just a little bit messy there, the Cats, but it was the Saints that turned it over, coming from half-back to centre-half-back. They just can't get it outside the defensive 50.
They've got to roll the dice. What they've got to do is, right, let's all push to one side and get the ball over and start creating, thinking outside the square.
What happens on those kick-ins, because they're playing the full ground zone, there's no space in the middle of the ground, so when you get the ball in the back 50 and look up, you tend to want to hold on to it, because the only space is 3 kicks away in your forward 50. Can't get there.
You've got to play on, you've got to draw the players to you and create space over the top to penetrate it.
Sam Fisher looking for that, kicks it to the outer side. A collision there between Jones and his teammate Hayes. It was Hayes who was headed in the right direction. He got the footy in the eye, and we've got a boundary throw in. That sort of afternoon, a wry smile. 11 wins last season for that man. Started the day with 13 in the qualifying round. Selwood, courage goes after the footy. Mackey cut off at the pass by Jones. And a bounce. Sun is out again.
He's tried. Jones is one of the most improved players in St Kilda, if not the AFL.
Revolt. Got his own ball. Hooks it just shy of the wing. Goddard came hard. Enright though. Mackey. Enright, terrific player. Lobs it inside the forward 50.
And the free kick going against Johnson. You might have tweaked his hammy a bit there, Johnson. Hodgson to Milne. Look how deep he has to go to get the ball, though.
Yeah, Johnson's not 100%. You're right, Bruce.
Good, but that's a clever kick because he's on his wrong side. Seen a couple of times today that he doesn't have a right foot. Gardner played just 2 games with the Cats last year. Then Milne, good kick now. They've worked hard here. Schneider gets around, needs to use it wisely, decides to go with a long ball, and Goddard.
Well done. Got it in long, got it in quick, and they were able to keep the ball moving. They didn't stop ongoing football. We'll just see it here, just a bit of holding on both, but Stevie Johnson gave away the free, and that's where it all started. Just see it here. Just a bit tender there,
Can't beat the value of an uncontested mark in your forward.
And Goddard, normally a good kick, gets it home, so the Saints get a very important goal.
And after all of the goings on in the first 5 minutes of this quarter, St Kilda have kicked the first goal. Geelong have had the attack for the entire time, and then all of a sudden St Kilda go forward and they're 1 for 1 inside their forward 50, which is a good result. Goddard's the man who's gone into the forward 50 to replace Riewold's position. Riewoldt ran past Schneider and could have been used in that bit of play, but all in all it's worked early for them.
Margin 29 points, Tim.
Now gone to Bartel. Now I reckon Bartel will fancy himself in the air, so if he gets half a chance to push hard forward, I think that's on the cards.
Interesting, Riewoldt and Milne, the 2 main goal scorers for St Kilda on both opposite wings.
Ottens has to wait and did well, found it on the deck. Selwood, another very clever hand pass. Now we've got a whistle. It's coming back. Lee Montagna's getting a free a long way off the ball.
Yeah, against Chapman. Just for in the face.
All I've seen is you just grab him like that. I didn't see that. All I've seen is grab him like that.
He's grabbed me. Well, Montagna was holding his face, so I just thought that might have been a bit high, but
he's a human briar patch, is Paul Chapman. Ball comes out towards the wing.
Got the
Gilbert off his step. Down towards half forward. Schneider inside the forward 50. Riewoldt takes the mark. Oh, bit stiff there. Harley got a step late, I thought, with a punch. Out of bounds.
It's a bit of the Matthew Richardson theory with Nick Riewoldt as well. If he goes up to the wing, Mackey's his man. And I think if he can push forward and had Mackey instead of Taylor in the forward 50, he'd be a lot happier with that matchup.
Mackey almost got stripped there. Saints having a real dig. Bartel in trouble now. Ball still hasn't come out.
Thank you.
Ooh, I think they may have been lucky a couple of times there. They tried to break the tackle and got free, and then was tackled a second and third time, and the umpire said no.
Ricky, give us a quickie.
Just on Steve Johnson, you mentioned he looked a bit proper. He does. He keeps grabbing his right buttock and looking towards the bench. So I think he wants to come off.
Goddard. Now Milne held on to for a moment. Gee, I've said it before. Just last time I was like, they get a goal here. You just feel like there's a sniff, don't you? They're pushing hard here. There's Johnson.
But they need to clear it out as well to give themselves an opportunity.
Montagna. Back to Jones. He's not a long kick. Neither's Hayes. Then Hayes does get something on that, but it's missing the lot.
They're certainly prepared to push back, Geelong. They had 14 players in that back 50 stoppage area, so it's really hard to get a clear possession down there for the scoring team.
And working that hard too. They're one rotation short. Prismal off with obviously a serious knee injury. It may affect their run towards the latter part of the quarter, and in particular the latter part of the game.
Milburn, who's been terrific then, drives it outside the defensive 50, intended for Bartel. Hayes found it on the ground, goes to Graham. McWalter. Now the speedy Montagna kicks it long to full forward. Taylor will come. Peeled off his man. That was terrific. Taylor outside the 50 uses the ball to good effect.
We saw Corey's kick at the end of the second quarter to Otten's advantage. Well, that was nearly the opposite to Montagna. Then he didn't put it to any one of his forwards' advantage.
Here's trouble. Ablett. Varco. Mackey. Varco kept running. So did Ablett. Ablett goes inside the 50, lines up and kicks a goal. Classical.
And that's your rule, Dennis, that you don't like, where the player comes on from the interchange. He's in the play immediately. He just walked on. Good vision there by Ottens to see him. But it was the run of Varco to keep going. Graham's gone to ground, which all of a sudden he's out of the contest. And some would say that's an easy out for Graham. But a wonderful finish by a great player.
I tell you what, Dennis mightn't like the rule, but I tell you what, he loved the play, didn't you, Den?
I'll make an exception for that man.
What about Ablett, Tim?
Oh, no, he just came on the ground. He's a marvellous player. But the other bit of that play, which was fantastic, was Bartel was matched up by McWalter. He saw out of the corner of his eye, but Ablett was free. He pushed up hard to Ottens, which created that one-on-none for Ablett to get the ball originally. Great play by Bartel.
So Ablett's hard running resulting in Geelong's first goal after half-time. On the up, Hayes. Harvey couldn't quite. Ablett imposing himself out wide to Stokes, to Mackie. Such an interesting player, Mackie. Ablett running so hard here. Does he take Eddie on? Well, he tried to, and Eddie held his ground, the boy on the rookie list. And then Gilbert to revolt.
And how is it the boy on the rookie list has now got the job on Ablett? Eddie has been on him for this first 10 minutes of this quarter, and he'll have the job.
Gee, this is a good build-up, Bucks. Montagna getting on the end of it. Snyder, well done, Rook. Del Santo's kick was a good one into the centre. Free kick to Milburn. Advantage given. Varco off half-back. Tempo rising here. Ling with that careful-looking style gets to the hard-running Mackie.
That's what they love too, Geelong. They love a shootout. They love it when you try and go head-to-head with them, because they know when they counter-attack that they're going to be much more devastating at it.
Corey finding space, dropped the football, found it again. Wonderful. Runs inside the forward 50, hard against the boundary line, intended for Lonigan. Couldn't hang on. Sam Fisher, he's been great. Had a wonderful season. Well, all or nothing there. I think he would have been better staying on his feet, Clark. Rock, Bartel concedes. Hunt's got it. He's a long kick. There's a man on in the pocket, and he found him, Lonigan.
Well, Raf Clark, you either got to take the mark or you got to take it over, because it's played like that, and he was never going to make it. He should have held his feet.
Yep.
Could cost his team a goal.
He didn't even do the diving chest mark. At least that would have given him a better chance of at least taking the mark. Once you lose your feet,
it almost looked non-urgent.
One down.
So Lonigan steps inside the 50 and just misses behind. So they're dodging a few bullets here, the Saints, but for how long?
Missed a couple Lonigan in this term. Still without a goal so far today. He's been in great goal-kicking form. He's kicked goals in all but one match that he's played this year. 12 of the 13. Here's Gilbert. It's almost like they're holding the Saints up on the ropes at the moment. They haven't quite dealt the knockout blow. Here's Revolt. Just starting to get a few touches up on the wing. Kick to the pocket. Front spot was Rook. Milne gets scarred. Good tackle.
Come a long time. Good tackle there by Milne.
That was an interesting decision by Scarlett. When he knew he was going to be tackled, ball security was his main objective. Held the ball in, and umpires will generally not ping you by previous prior opportunity.
Cosy laid it down, but Ling read it best. Ablett having a huge term. Got the handball from Enright. Good kick down the line to Lonigan.
Lonigan, the short one back in the corridor. Mooney with a runner alongside. Delays. Releases Selwood into space. He in turn goes to Stokes. Stokes, a good tackle, got him down. The hand pass wasn't exact enough. Scrambled out of defence by Montagna. It'll be coming back. Mackie against the boundary line. Goes for Johnson. Oh, terrific kick. No margin of error there. Johnson, the centering ball. Ottens off his hands. Lonigan misses, but it's going to be a free kick to Ottens. He was pushed as he was juggling that ball.
Well, they're just unrelenting, Geelong. They're hard forward running. And how many times have they actually had the ball sort of coming through the 50, and they've centred it up to the top, just having so much faith in each other, putting it to the advantage, whether it be in a contest or on the lead. A great little bit of play that I saw there. Mooney up on the lead through the middle. Saw Selwood coming, and rather than just give the handball, knowing that his man was going to be goal side of him, Fisher at the time, he said, here, he knew, all right, I'll run with you, I'll draw Fisher, and then I'll put you in the space. And I think that's Geelong's game plan to a T. It's a snapshot of it. They try and do that as often as they can all over the field.
Brad Otten's going at his third. Much maligned when he came from the Tigers to Geelong, but they love him now. Crowd favourite comes in and gets the third. His third, the margin, well, it's now out to 42 points.
It's another free kick, Dennis.
What? Steady.
Great Stephen Milne.
Yeah, actually, as they were just post-play coming back to the centre, we'll probably see it. There's just a little bit of contact.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
Well, Stevie Milne gives up a 50. He started the day hoping to be like Winnie the Pooh. He's now looking like Lucy the Pooh, but at least he's got the name for it.
I'll tell you one thing, it's just stupid. You got the umpire 2 feet from you. Whether it's a free kick or not is not debatable, or is debatable. But just silly.
You take it out of your own hands if you do something.
Of course you do.
You've got control of your actions, and then if you do something like that, well, then you remove control from yourself and give it to someone else.
And you know,
the umpire made the call.
Stephen Milne has been really, really good in the last couple of weeks too, and he's just, you can undo all your good work in one action.
Steve Johnson, the beneficiary, comes in. 2 of 2 kicks. Oh dear. It's like a roulette wheel out there.
Well, Stevie Johnson's got him sucked in at the moment, and St Kilda are playing the second banana. They're just making poor decisions.
That's the total morale downer, isn't it?
Oh.
I mean, when you give away a second free kick, you're half a dozen goals behind, struggling anyway.
What do you do? Do you send the runner out? Do you? I'm not sure. Stephen Milne knows he's done the wrong thing.
Gee, wouldn't the Saints like 2 goals in 10 seconds? They've taken 2.5 quarters to kick 4.
Well, it's amazing how little things make up a game of footy, and those things, how they just smash it.
Look at that scoreboard.
Yeah.
How lopsided it looks. 26-6. Johnson gets his 50th goal. First time in his career that he's got to half a century.
Let it up straight away, guys.
Interesting player, Brad Ottens. I'm never quite sure if he's a ruckman forward or a forward ruckman. Well, he's a very valuable player because he can be valuable in both those 2 spots.
He's kicked 235 goals, Lee. This is his 202nd game, so it's a good return, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I mean, he's averaging not far short of what Mooney averages goal for game. Admittedly, Mooney played not as a full forward for a lot of his early part, but you'd reckon if he stood in the goal score, he'd probably kick 2 goals against, wouldn't he?
But the thing is, too, he's so accurate. He's a beautiful set shot, and often ruckman can be a little bit wayward, but he certainly isn't.
Not that many ruckmen would have kicked well over the 200. So Clark to Hayes after Harvey got it there. Good grab. Ralph Clark, who you reckon owes them one from what happened 5 minutes ago when he went to ground.
I think Geelong are prepared to accept that they might get an opposition take a couple of contested marks against them, because in this contest you'll see not one Geelong player going for the spoil. They try and mark the ball in those situations. They do back themselves at every contest like that.
Got to kick this.
Just the 1 goal.
Got to kick it
for the year. When we went to the Olympics, I thought Ralph Clark was gone for the year. You come back and he's played the last 3, but so he's given himself a second chance here, but that was a big miss.
Well, we
might have been right.
We know what he's been up against, and he's doing a wonderful job to give himself that chance and to be back in amongst it so soon after the concerns that we heard about midway through the year.
Taylor drives it towards the outer side. Big tangle. Getting back as Blake went to the ground. A lot of Saints going down very early in contests. Hayes untidy but effective enough. Harvey, Graham, no way through. That was good discipline by Ablett. Came and met him on his left side, closing down the kick as the ball runs down towards half forward for the Saints. Eddie over the top. Stokes goes after it. Ling is in there. Strong man Ling, but that ball isn't coming out.
That basic rule of staying on your feet when Mackey was able to spoil them, but he still stayed on his feet, so he was first to the ball at second effort ground.
That was interesting when they confronted each other over there. As I said, Ablett shaded Graham to his left side effectively, closing down the kick, and Graham just stopped. He knew he couldn't thread the ball through. Enright overlapping, goes to midfield. Chapman traps it. Well done, Goddard to Gilbert. Oh,
not so well done. Enright, Johnson. And then Johnson goes to the pocket with a soft kick to Mooney. And then Mooney quickly on. And those floodgates have opened up now, haven't they? It's a typical Mooney match. One goal in each quarter. He just does enough all the time, doesn't he?
He does. He's very consistent in his work rate, and that's something that is consistent across Geelong's team. Poor skill error there to really cost you. If it's you're going to get burned against any team, let alone Geelong. But this was a smart little kick by Johnson, and Cameron Mooney here just using the rules to his advantage. If Blake had held him, then it might have been 50 against, and he took his eye off the ball, lost focus. Mooney took advantage.
There's the man that got the goal. 80 plays 27. King's been good, but gee, he knows what's opposing him this afternoon. Former teammates, he must feel like Laura, hoping Greg wins another British Open. Back in the middle. King gets up there, beaten that time by Blake. Spills wide of the pack. Well done, Ablett. Spinning as he went. Goddard, clever. Hayes gets back, slips it away. Gilbert, sweeping hand pass. Again, Sam Fisher. Not his fault. Over the top. Jones back to Montagna. Montagna goes inside the forward 50. Wow. Xavier Clark, the flyer, with the poise behind Taylor. Or the hand pass, not that flash. Harvey needs support. He's got it from Schneider. Stops outside the 50. Goddard to Hayes. Hayes 40 metres out. Must kick it. Didn't.
Missed another one, so let's go down to you, Ricky. What's happening with Chappie, mate?
Yeah, I think there's a bit of a concern on Paul Chapman. He actually came off the ground very slowly. He's been stretching his hamstring out there on the ground. Also did that in the first half. Now he's with the physio, just trying to loosen up that back and hamstring area.
Montagna kicks the goal.
Well, they needed that one. They really did after Lenny Hayes had missed the last one. We see here Xavier Clark need to put his wheels down in the landing. But he flew at the footy, and that's a good sign that they're actually going towards it. They're getting numbers around the footy on the last couple of contests. And a good finish by one of their midfielders after their previous midfielder couldn't slot it through.
I saw Paul Chapman come off the field with the physio as we see Stewie Lowe there in the crowd. He stood about 2 metres off the boundary line. The physio said, lie down here, we'll do some work. He looked hands on hips, staring into the middle like he didn't know what to do. I don't know, and it'll come to light as we go, and we'll go to Ricky and Tim to find out. But it didn't like what I saw, because he looked like he was contemplating to me.
They're working on his buttocks right now. Chappie down there, so Saints get one against the flow. Montagna with that running goal. And there he is. Gee, if you're a Geelong player, you'd hate to do something right now, wouldn't you?
That's Brent Prismal.
Graham, quick kick. Schneider, he's played a little cameo, Schneider. Inside, Dalsanto on his wrong side. And Hunt gets back. Group was held up.
It was good play by Scarlett there, just to hold him back, to allow the play, his teammate to grab the footy.
Ablett held his ground. Milburn to Mackey. Still Mackey. Just handballed really to the ground. Schneider. Hayes on the up. King. Well, he must have thought he had the old strip on, I reckon. He looked up and saw his mate Scarlett and thought, there you go, Matty, it's all yours.
Scarlett, like his dad before him. An outstanding fullback. Here's Ablett. Just chips inside. Another goal coming up, I fancy. Rook, the artist formerly known as Jared, kicks the goal.
Oh, well, the good players for Geelong just seem to keep racking them up. 22 to Bartelli. He hasn't had much since half time, but Apple's gone on to 25. And you can't keep good players down for a long time. They're good players for a reason because they continue to work their way into the game. Corey's had 19 to Milburn, and they just keep on using each other beautifully.
The irony of Ablett is that he's actually got more touches when they've gone more defensive on him.
I think Max might be a better artist than Jared, don't you?
The way he did that, yes. That was lovely.
I wonder what the third reincarnation will be.
I think one thing you can't do is just blast the ball, a quick kick into the Geelong defence, because they went to form and they just hold their ground back so well.
Don't know who's got the stats on this, Lee, but Geelong taking the ball out of their defensive 50 for a goal without the opposition touching it. They're behind numbers through the year, wouldn't they?
Well, they back the ball in the air. I mean, the opposition can't control it once it's in the air, and once it's in the air, the Geelong guys back their judgment.
I think Hawthorn are getting nervous, but I asked you that question on Friday night whether Geelong were getting nervous about Hawthorn.
No, they'll be getting excited because I think it's pretty clear that Geelong and Hawthorn are the two best teams in the comp, and this weekend hasn't done anything to dispel that.
Straight to him.
Remembering that the loser of today will play Collingwood next Saturday night at the MCG, with the Swans playing the Doggies Friday night. Goddard, good-looking kick to Gardner. It was a lovely kick by Goddard.
Well, that's when they have been dangerous, when they've actually got that one handball in and they've gone to the fat side and they've gone in quick. But, gee, it's been rare.
Well, it marked a couple in their forward line all of a sudden.
Oh, Jimmy Bartel.
That one mark inside 50, remember, was Snyder out-bodying Harley early in the first quarter.
Hasn't missed from a set shot this year. He's 7-0. He would have loved to have got one there against the old team.
He might be playing for them as well.
Steady. 5-5, 12-14. So Roscoe with it's his first final too. I think it didn't play as a player, did he? So first final as a coach.
Hunt told to play on then. Harley, big jump, missed it. Hurt himself on the way down. Corey, advantage is paid, comes away, goes towards half forward. Mooney getting a fist on it. Hodgson, School of Hard Knocks. He knocked it about 40 metres. Taken by Milburn. Goes out wide. Stokes is running. Varco is on for the next one. That's ignored. He pulls it back. Lonigan being held.
Well, the defenders can't do anything about that because it's coming in too easy. There's no pressure on the kickers. Who would have thought that Nathan Ablett wouldn't be playing? Tom Hawkins, you would have thought would have been playing. But this guy, he's done enough. Kicks goals and is keeping Tom Hawkins out of the side at the moment.
I talked a bit about Geelong playing a full ground zone or 18-man zone to defend the kick-ins. I mean, Harley didn't quite take this particular mark, but St Kilda are only playing a 12-man zone, so there's space in the midfield, and if they get it out Geelong, they're able to carry it through the midfield part of the ground without into the space.
Harvey under the pump, cops it up to Enright. Milburn. What a reliable player Milburn is. Scarlett. Oh, gee, Gwilt came in late. Scarlett's long ball, Ling and Del Santo.
Yes.
And as soon as the Geelong players see Cameron Ling in a one-on-one forward of them, they love to kick it long to him because he protects the space as well as anyone.
Sandy, he stands out.
Revolt won the tap. Bartel nearly got it. It was robbed, and Stokes comes in and kicks his first for the day, and Geelong's 13th.
It's getting dangerous, really, really dangerous now for St Kilda for a lot of reasons. Not only on the scoreboard, but a huge loss can just psychologically do some damage going into next week. All of a sudden you lose your confidence and
that was a great shot. You see the Geelong plays the movement through the stoppages. They don't stand flat-footed. It's amazing if you got movement, you can run onto the footy, and Stokes obviously was the one who did that.
Margin 58 points then, approaching three-quarter time. The The crowd being denied a contest now by the brilliance of Geelong. And it's patently clear that two clubs have separated from the pack. Well, one is separated from the other, perhaps. Geelong and Hawthorn, though, certainly the cream of the crop. Working around that centre square. Ablett, little chip down towards half forward, running back Selwood. Now Steve Johnson, during that break, came off the ground with a bit of a limp. Selwood, what a clever kick. What a beautiful kick. Demanding that Lonergan came to the football.
He did. He was the director. He just said, get over there. I'll tell you where I want you to go.
Many players don't realise how far the teammate can run when the ball's in the air off their boot. And that was a good 20 metres, and he just put the ball out in front.
He needs the canvas chair. Cecil B to Selwood. There's the kick then from Lonergan. He celebrates a goal.
He's one of the stories of the AFL at the moment, Tom Lonergan. What he went through and to where he's at now. He'll be playing in a final side. Got 10 individual goal kickers spreading the load, and that's why they are such a dangerous side, that if one player is having a down day, they've got 10 to 15 that can step up and easily fill the void. So, yeah, he's had a good year.
It's been a fantastic story, Lonergan, and he's at the right place at the right time. But that decision-making by Selwood is just, once again, a snapshot of what Geelong can do. Under intense pressure or with time and space, they just make the right decisions at the right time.
Well, they won 2 finals by over 100 points last year. Who knows today? It's 99 to 35.
Advantage.
It's like seeing the Ferrari starting to purr, isn't it? The kick to half forward. Mooney brilliantly to Varco. Arches his back and kicks another beauty. Oh, they're good to watch.
Wasn't much difference between Mooney. He went to ground, but he had the ball. He didn't quite take the chest mark, but he went to ground and had the footy. Going to ground without the footy, just the absolute cardinal sin.
What about the trust in Varco, though, to realise just to run full pelt knowing that Mooney was going to give it off? To see there, he just takes off and he knows that he's going to be given. There he is, he's still going at full pelt.
I think it's all about knowing that it's not just one crack at the ball.
Yeah.
You might have a second or a third effort.
He must be pinching himself, that young man. Under 2 minutes to three-quarter time.
He also might be a bit stressed, Dennis, because I don't know whether he's absolutely entrenched in their 22.
Well, he's had 6 tackles, so he's playing his role, and that's primarily what he's been in the side for.
Forward pressure. Corey out of the middle, drives it out towards right half forward. Just interesting. Look at that. As they run towards the ball, the acceleration out of the middle of the Cats players is far better than the Saints. The Saints midfield doesn't lack speed so much as acceleration. Tracking that ball, every Cat of their midfield was leading the player that was tracking him. That makes sense. I think so. Stokes in a convoluted way.
We've got Ablett down behind screen there.
I think it comes under the umbrella of power running, Dennis, that ability to run a really quick 50 metres.
Repeat speed as well.
Yeah.
I think the other thing is, I think the quickness of the mind. I mean, their transition from offence to defence in their mind is quicker than their opposition more often than not.
There's Blake back inside the forward 50. Lonergan's got it again.
They love that. The big ruckmen love that when they get it and they're streaming inside and they see a player coming towards them, and to be able to hit them lace out with it only about 7 feet off the ground. Fantastic.
As we take the other camera, you can see them leading in all directions. Selwood was going across. There's Bartel as well. All of them about 5 to 10 metres in front of their direct opponents. Lonergan. That's a good kick too. This is getting embarrassing now.
And have a look at the last 3 goals kicked by a couple of those players that are on the cusp. A couple of those players that I suppose from an outside perspective, you would think would be hungrier than their teammates because they weren't part of the premiership last year. But I don't see any drop-off in the hunger or the intensity of this Geelong side. They've been fantastic. Lonigan, 2 of the last 3, and Varco with that speedy goal through the middle after the hand pass from Mooney. They're ready to play their role.
You'd have to be easily satisfied. It only happens once every 12 months at best of premiership, so I don't know this talk that because you win one, you don't want to win one every year for the rest of your life.
So Lonigan with a couple, and he's taken the Tomahawk's place, hasn't he, in this team? Tommy Hawkins.
And Burns, who missed out for today.
And played in the premiership last year, Burns. Just hard to see how he could get back. I mean, Prismal's out, we know. Kelly probably ready to come with Wojcinski.
Yeah, Wojcinski's still there.
They've kicked 4 goals with their last 9 kicks, Geelong. Saints have kicked 5 goals all day with over 130.
Still a question mark on Chapman too.
Yeah, he hasn't come back. So Hayes, Gwilt, King. And King wide. Well, Dennis talked about the levy not quite breaking. Well, the Hurricane arrived in that quarter, didn't it?
Yeah.
It sure did. And it was called Geelong, and that bloke had a big part of it.
Katrina.
You got it. Thought you might have that. 111 to 35. It's finals footy. It's the Cats playing the best brand. By a lot. So a big half an hour coming up, remembering Collingwood next Saturday night. Unravelling this season before our very eyes after winning 8 of their last 10. As we go down to you, Ricky, and Tim to talk about Bartel, Tim.
Yeah, well, he was a lot quieter in that third quarter, but he stayed involved in the game. I was watching him very closely. He was out on this wing. He was being picked up by McQualter, but he was actually dictating to the players and orchestrating what was going on. He was keeping an eye on the interchange. As St Kilda players came onto the ground, he was actually then communicating to players of his side as to who had to pick them up, where they were going, what they were doing. The other concern that they have down here, Geelong, at the moment, and it is a big concern, is Paul Chapman's fitness, Ricky.
Well, this could be a big story, Tim. Paul Chapman came off in that third quarter. He's actually talking to Bowman Thompson right now about that hamstring injury. He spent most of that quarter getting treatment. It's hard to say whether he's actually torn a hamstring or he's just got nerve-related tightness. We can see him there having a good conversation with Bomber. He's missed 5 games already this year with a hamstring. He's had 2 episodes. One instance he missed 2 weeks. The other one he missed 3 weeks. So, you know, this could be a big thing for Geelong if they lose Paul Chapman for the rest of the final series.
Nice work, Rick.
That's a very relaxed coach.
Yeah. 76 points the margin.
Do you think you'd be relaxed in the same situation?
Well, you might be the moment. He was in no hurry to get up the coach's box. Have a few minutes, a few seconds.
But it is a nervous 30 minutes because any more injuries and they become, you know,
there's always something to worry about.
Yeah, that's right. Ling, Mackey surging, kicks it long, reaching over the top. Mooney got it on the ground. Goddard did well, head down over the football, won it. Out of defence, Sam Fisher yet again.
And nothing came of that, but just Mooney's effort to bring that to ground is half the battle. They never concede Geelong, and they're always in the contest.
Clark through midfield with a kick. Not flash, bounces right to the 50. Harley, Scarlett. Get the feeling something good will happen here for the Cats. Harley's got it. Taylor splitting the difference end right, running at them. Scarlett, Harley to the opposite pocket. Well, that was his intention. Ball's out of bounds.
They look like they were running around at half rat power then, but in the end, just getting in each other's way, it does happen.
Nice smother. Nice smother.
So the Saints inside their forward 50. Bartel doing the ruck work. Scarlett, little give was terrific to saw. Well done, Schneider. Bartel, and again a boundary throw in. There's Paul Chapman, who Ricky spoke about at three-quarter time. So they're just strapping up his quad now. Tim?
Well, Ross Lyon may already be thinking about next week because Harvey, King, Hayes and Hudson all started this last quarter on the interchange bench.
Milne to revolt, and Nick kicks his first for the day.
Milne involved again, which is, I think, a good sign. Whilst you're out of the game and the game is dead and buried, it's still, you need to take good form into your next week. And if you can finish the last quarter off, you've at least got something to take in. And it'll be very important for Revolt, Kazitsky, Milne, all the players that they were hoping on really lifting him today to finish off well. So against Collingwood next week, they've got confidence.
Nick Revolt starting the day. He'd kicked 25 goals in 13 games against the Cats. His first goal this afternoon. He had some chances, some half chances early in the game. One wonders, had he taken them, a few marks, things could have been different. Not the result, but his afternoon. Jones in trouble. And look at the aggression from Scarlett and Rook in there, robbing him of the football. Eventually it spills behind the pack. Kazetsky, Graham, shows a lot of it to Hunt. Hunt, spring heel jack quickly after that football when he landed. Selwood, did he have the football? He's got it now. And the umpire will ball it up.
Didn't drag it in. Didn't drag it in. That's goal.
Selwood with a query, and I think it's a good one. He lost control of the footy, but was tackled as he was going after it a second time. Ottens is held on to. Eddie hit the pack hard. In trouble, Gwilt taken down by Corey. Down goes Ablett. Held his head as he landed. Kazitsky forcing it forward. Taken by Graham. Ablett still down. Graham punishing kick inside the forward 50. Spills behind. Rook was pushed to the back. Got a hand pass away. Taylor almost threw it. He did throw it.
Leave on 10, you'll get out. Leave on 10 on the full.
Probably Harry's first mistake for the day.
Yeah, he's had a couple of those where he's given off the quick hands.
So Gwilt and a behind.
They've changed that defensive matchup for some reason. Scarlett has now got Rewald, who's playing more, maybe just because he's playing more like a conventional full forward close to the goal square.
It's going to be interesting to see how they do line up next Saturday night, the Saints. What structure, what change they might make. Here's Ablett, and a very good first half, fantastic third quarter.
I think it's one of those basic things. You know that Rewald's going to have a really good day. It's hard for St Kilda to win finals unless he has a really good day.
Well, he's averaged 4 goals in his last 7 games going in. Whilst they've been winning, he's been kicking 4 goals.
Yeah, that's still an anchor point. And Milne obviously has been very good in the previous weeks. But they're likely to have to kick, multiple goals for St Kilda to look like they're scoring enough to win.
Ottens, kick to Mooney. Del Santo had a fair bit of the footy. Hasn't really impacted. That's a neat kick to Montagna. He was slow to start, Montagna. He's built a little since then. A couple of options here. Cozzie's had a quiet day. They might be salvaging something from a pretty big wreck at the moment. Graham, Mackie to sweep it up.
Enright got it from Ottens to half-forward and Johnson. Running alongside his wing, pulls it back well. That is very fancy.
He's the best.
Lonigan is directly in front.
It's always in the back of the head, isn't it? That was just fantastic to see him. That's the awareness he's got. He must have known he was there before he took possession of the footy because he couldn't possibly see him on that angle.
And this tackle from Varco started it all. But I reckon that option only became available after the ball had left his hand. And he changed. I reckon he would have nearly changed his mind.
He sees the player take off there at the top of the screen. He says, right, if you're going to cheat and get in front, I'll make you pay.
Lonigan, 48 metres out, misses to the right-hand side.
There are very few players like Steve Johnson that can make their opponent look like an absolute dill at times.
I reckon your first part of the sentence was right. There are very few players like Steve Johnson. Full stop.
Exactly.
He's got the hobbles a little bit, Johnson. Wouldn't be surprised if they
put him in,
take him off shortly and put him in cotton wool.
But it was typical Steve Johnson. He had 3 tricks he could have played, and he picked the hardest and performed it perfectly, didn't he?
It's one thing to see it, it's another one to execute it.
And Stephen Milne often tries to do what Steve Johnson does, but he can't do it as often or as good.
No, there's only, as you said, there's only one Steve Johnson. Take this the right way too. A white man can do those ridiculous things. And we see the Indigenous players do remarkable things at times, don't we?
But there's very few Indigenous boys who could do that as well.
So here the Saints trying to build something. Fisher's been okay. Cozzie's had a quiet one. He goes down the line. Gardner's had no impact. He's had the rub of the green the wrong way a couple of times. So a couple of ex-Cats there combining, but not much happening. Rook to Harley, back to Rook.
Blake, Scarlett, Ling, Enright. His best kick, it wanders down towards half forward. Mooney just got rid of Del Santo and took the mark. Mooney goes across the ground, requiring a fair bit of Jimmy, and Jimmy equal to the task. Bit of a mouse under the left eye. Jimmy Bartell's got the footy 40 metres out.
This is one of the problems that St Kilda have. Here's Kaczynski. He goes for the short option and he's got the long one over the top. And all of a sudden, Harley's involved and the kick doesn't hit the target. They turn the ball over and now Geelong are having a shot on goal. Poor decision making.
Bartell then, Geelong's 5th Brownlow medalist last season, comes in and kicks another goal. Bruce made the point before, he's kicking more goals this year.
Well, when St Kilda had the ball in their back pocket there, I think Geelong had their own form of a cluster there, the Hawthorns cluster, something similar to a zone around that area, the 60 to 70 metres that the St Kilda player could have used the ball to. And on that occasion, to be able to turn it around, a skill error, a decision-making error by Kaczynski, and then Geelong rebounding as we know they can.
What a great illustration. Not a two-grab mark either. So clean with his hands, isn't he?
I think he's the best mark in their team.
118 to 42. They march on the Cats. This will be 41 out of 43. Now, this is a pretty competitive competition, you'd reckon. When you 41 out of 43 they've won. Here's Hunt. If you look at the streaks of teams over the last sort of decade, you win 4, 5, 6 in a row, you're doing very well.
Certainly do.
Well, they won 15 in a row last year. They won 12 in a row between last year and this year. And this will be 14 in a row.
It's good footy, isn't it?
With one defeat in between all of that each. So 2 defeats only. It's been a remarkable stretch. Here's Taylor. And again, well,
Beautiful hands, isn't it? Beautiful.
So cleanly.
Yep.
Corey gets it from him. Back to Bartell.
To Ablett. The pair came in averaging 28 possessions a game this season. Brownlow night will be very interesting. Blake gives it across towards Corey. Another man right up there in possessions. That kick just off to the right, off hands and across the line. Seems very content playing 3rd or maybe 4th string, was Joel Corey.
He's the best 3rd or 4th stringer in the competition.
Yes. It's a real Stradivarius, isn't it? Here's King. Left half back.
They end up playing a lot of exhibition football, Geelong, but they play footy the way you want it to be played. They move it quick, they're clean. They just play it so well.
Lee, if you were still coaching Brisbane,
yeah,
and you could pick one Geelong player to go into the team, who would you pick?
Well, you sort of pick of who you need the most. So you'd probably go with a Gary Ablett, another or Bartell, one of the really class midfielders. So they could pick about 6 of them.
Graham's long ball. Gardner with a chance. Little handball to Milne. He's probably too far out, so he does the team thing to Harvey, but Rook, well done against the flight.
Best thing they did was send him to Germany.
Can I get you to choose between Ablett and Bartell? I'm stretching you here. Think about it.
I'm not to think about that one.
Okay, here's Milburn.
Around the outer side, Joel Corey bombing up again.
I don't reckon we'll get an answer.
Pulls it back. Pushing up the ground, Raph Clark gets it back from Hayes. Interesting. Got more interesting. He knocked it forward down towards half forward. Harvey slid in. Left behind, picked up by Gardner. Graham, who kicks it a long way, 60 metres out, but he's off target. And this ball is through for a behind. Just over 11 minutes remaining in this one. Geelong are through to a preliminary final And the Saints have Collingwood next Saturday night.
I just got the Matthew stare. He just gave me a beady-eyed look he gave me.
I'm still thinking. But actually, what it does prove, I mean, good players in a good team. I mean, the team makes good players better, and obviously the good players make the team better. So the fact is they've got that half a dozen really high-quality midfielders, makes all of them better.
It's a delicious circle.
And you think about those two drafts that created so many of their great players, didn't they? Two separate drafts that they got the Lings out of one and the Chapmans out of one, and they got the Abletts and the Bartells, etc., out of another.
You make a good point, Lee, because we've seen West Coast really be pulled apart. You lose one of those players, all of a sudden their midfield's nowhere near as potent.
Well, they lost 2 or 3 at the same
They
time.
lost two. So you take one out and you take a couple out, and gee, makes it very skinny, doesn't it?
Varco trying to poach it. Ablett cleverly in there. Back to Johnson. She sees things that others don't. Goddard to Graham. He's got a bit of a Graham, but he hasn't kicked that goal or two they needed. And gee, Mackie just is in the right place at the right time so often.
Mackie inside the forward 50. Gee, that was well controlled by Sam Fisher. So much of the football for Sam. He's up to 28 possessions now. And this ball goes out of bounds, and there's Blake down with a wrist.
Looks like a shoulder.
Could well be, sorry. Rick will be across it. Stokes hooks it back towards the middle. Varco in the right spot, in trouble. And again, a wonderful tackle. Varco had a head of steam. And Sam Fisher able to bring him down. Blake coming off the ground. See what happens here.
Just the momentum of the ball did that.
Yeah. Just popped it out.
Graham getting some late kicks as Blake leaves you.
See it's forward. You can see the bulge out the front where the tape crosses over. So that's just off to the right there.
And we've talked about depth today about Geelong. St Kilda's, I hate saying this word, but their bottom 8 today have bottomed out a lot, haven't they?
Yeah, you'd have to say that.
Gwilt's kick, belted forward, conceding a behind.
Actually, we spoke about Mackie. He was in the play just before. I remember a couple of years ago he was more playing as a forward. And when at the start of last season, when they put him back in defence, he's just become such a versatile defender. Plays in all different sizes and shapes. Become very, very valuable.
Ricky.
Jason Blake went straight down the race, holding that right shoulder. Looks like it has popped out. They'll probably have to take the tape off and try and get it back in while they're down that medical room.
Schneider takes a pot shot at goal and misses.
It's going to be a very big psychological battle for St Kilda to put this one behind and to head forward. Generally, when we watch,
keep going,
as we see Geelong do what they do.
I'm not sure whether actually it does against Geelong, because Geelong are beating everyone. This is exactly the same as last week.
And North Melbourne last year got beaten by 106 points and then came out and beat Hawthorn the next week on this very day, didn't they?
Taylor.
But the St Kilda's result will be blown. This result will be blown up. I mean, it'll be really bad for St Kilda, and just as beneficial for Geelong. Whereas this is really a status quo. We expected this result.
Here's Hunt. Deep in his own defensive area. Bartell, the chip to centre half back. Look at Bartell accelerate on when the others weren't running. Gee, that's casual. Up towards midfield. In fact, beyond now. Graham sends it back the other way. But the mark is taken by Kaczynski. Even that was untidy. Goddard goes after it. Gardner just forward of the wing. A little chip. Nice kick. Eddie has it. He's about 50 metres from goal. Milburn very deep. The only man back. Now Xavier Clark's come on. He's tracking down. He needs to be the man. Xavier. What are you doing, Xavier?
Too far from the kicker. That's his problem.
Well, he had to run at him, didn't he? Yeah. Xavier didn't want the footy.
Well, this is the bloke you needed to have the ball in his hands.
No, you're speaking in space 80 metres from the kicker. Can't reach it.
And the Geelong defence knows that.
They know that.
This ball comes across to Gilbert.
Stay clear, Nick.
Geelong happy with this.
Goddard. Montagna heard the call.
And then has to backtrack, kick it very wide. Justin Gardner drawing the man to him. Montagna, well done. Back to Gardner. Can he kick it accurately from the pocket? No, won't get there. Milburn decided to belt it away. Gardner, King, Schneider, 3 that they recruited for this year, playing today. Mark taken by Mooney.
He'll have to hold it up here. They've got no structure, as you can see there. No player up forward because they've all pushed down the ground.
That point you made, Bruce, but they were all pretty much bonus picks. They virtually cost them nothing, so they didn't have a whole lot to lose.
And the proof is that they're playing. They're the best 22 right now, aren't they? Ottens has been good. Cheers, a bonus to have him and Blake, because Ottens will go forward and be another big target for them.
What about after Ottens took that mark? Joel Selwood, he's played 40 games and he just goes over and tells his big ruckman just to slow the play down a little bit. Let's soak up a bit of time.
Harvey, clever, well done. Kazitsky, this would be nice if Haas could goal. It's a vacant goal square. Doesn't go for it, kicks it wide. Montagna, he's in a tight pocket now. Does he come back to the centre? He does, and Raf Clark's got it.
So they thought that well. They had a numbers advantage by 1 or 2, sometimes 3 at times there. Smart defence in Scarlett and Harley made it happen slowly, but just great confidence in each other and leadership from a young man to make sure that he voices what the team wants.
You reckon he'll be Geelong captain one day, wouldn't you think, Selwood?
From the outside in, it definitely looks that way.
Clark kicks the goal.
Well, all individual goal kickers for St Kilda, and I guess that's been the big problem. They haven't had a forward that has stood up that could take a mark and kick a couple of goals. But good work there by Harvey in the middle of the ground. He was able to get the intercept, the old fella, and he might only have a couple of games left, maybe only one after this week, or a couple, but.
Margin 68 points then. 17-17 to 7-9. Rucks go at it. Ling. Stokes gave it to Varco to Ling. Selwood running hard on the assist. Comes back. Little 1-2 with Ling. Chips towards half forward. In front, Ablett had it punched away. Short one from Jones. Clark. Good run by Hayes. Releases Milne 40 metres out. And what's he done? Touched across the line by Scarlett. As easy as you like.
Good pressure on the kick as he was about to kick it, then Milne, and just squeezed him up. Couldn't get the elevation that he required.
It's probably the best ball movement we've seen from St Kilda all day, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, you're going to get that towards the end of the game.
71,653, so 76 Friday night. Not a good day yesterday, either in Adelaide or Sydney for crowds.
37 at Amy and 19 up at ANZ Stadium.
I mean, the 19's the headline, but the 37's almost as perplexing, I reckon, in Adelaide. And then, of course, over 70 today, so a bit of a mixed bag. A few concerns, you'd think, for the AFL, as Hayes, is Ball, I should know this, is Ball gone for the year, Luke Ball?
He had a setback before this game, but
that was a nasty hamstring, though, wasn't it? His leg came all the way back to his forehead.
Yep. So Goddard's within distance. He's a beautiful kick, and he's just hooked out from behind. What's his best spot, Goddard? Where do you reckon he's going to play his absolute best footy? Is he a winger? Is he a half-backer?
I think he's an in-between shape. That's the problem. He's a tall midfielder, but not really a centre square player. Can play off half-back, but if you can play off half-back, you've got to defend as well.
I think he's a winger. Just get him in there as a pinch hitter and drifting forward. I think you're right, Lee, as in a midfielder, he's probably not accountable enough to be that real dangerous midfielder.
I don't think he's been close ball winner.
Yeah.
Mackey forced into an awkward situation there. The ball goes out of bounds. Bartel now is up to 32 possessions. That's his career high against St Kilda. Started brilliantly. I think from memory had 19 at half time. Looking a little bored, is Mark.
Thought he was going to fall asleep.
Ling trying to force it on. Stokes. Varco. Corey. Had 20 at half time. Thanks, Bruce. Speaking of 20, Johnson's got it. Kicks beyond the wing. Lonergan, a big second half, misses the target with a kick. Getting back was Goddard. Knocked it to the advantage of Raph Clark. Del Santo, who made his debut against these Cats. His first opponent was Cameron Ling a long time ago. There goes the ball down towards half forward. Clark inside the 50. Still going, Zav. Shoots. Wouldn't you know, he's missed.
Gee, that play by Stevie Johnson out on the wing was amazing. He got the footy. Watch this. He's got it. I'll just do a blind turn on no one. Don't often see that.
Well, he's not going to trick himself.
Well, he did. I think he did.
Do you reckon we could get him on Dancing with the Stars?
Oh.
He'd be pretty good on his feet, wouldn't he?
He probably made someone move 5 metres to the left and created a bit of space for his next disposal.
He's a unique talent.
So Ling. If they played Hawthorn in the grand final, who would Ling run to, do you reckon, boys, at the first bounce?
Luke Hodge.
I think Sam Mitchell is still the one that initiates all the Hawthorn inside stuff, so I suspect he'd be the one he'd be on first go.
Ablett, Rook and Graham boundary throwing.
If he goes to their best player, he goes to Luke Hodge.
Yeah.
But if he goes to that, if he's going to be in the midfield, you're right, Lee.
Well, Hodge is an interesting one for them. We saw him on Friday night, how dominant he is in that role. But if you go purely defensive, well, then you may lose a little bit of your attacking flair.
Yeah, Cameron Ling can kick a goal too, so he would be dangerous down there.
Here's Milne. Across the ground he goes.
Before we see that one.
Kazetsky sliding, takes the mark. Schneider inside the forward 50 with the judgment. Milburn just eases back.
32 for Milburn.
Bartel again. Ablett again. Corey again. Runs beyond the wing, kicking for space, demanding something once more of Lonergan. This time they had the ball slapped away. Eddie. Low down for Fisher. Easily the Saints' best. Has to go again. Stokes. Scarlett up forward. 2 of his 16 career goals have come against the Saints. Well done there by Del Santo. Gilbert drives it towards the wing, and the mark is taken by Schneider. Coming on the lead, Montagna. Play on's the call. Neither side too enthused at the moment. That's a beautiful kick, though, and he finds Gardner.
To Montagna. Heard the umpire, McQualter. I'm going to give you a silly stat in a minute, Dennis.
I love those, Bruce. You know that.
Jones, I better give it to you now. The last 8 scoring shots have all been St Kilda's. They've kicked 1 goal, 7.
I thought you were going to say the brothers Clark.
Does Milne get it there? I reckon he might have. He's got his second.
And there has been a lot of junk time, and I think what did you call it, Lee? What, exhibition football?
Exhibition footy now.
They do play a lot of exhibition football because they do a lot of hard work to put themselves in that position. They're a very strong side, and St Kilda in the last 10 or 15 have enjoyed the last 9 scoring shots, as you said, Bruce, mainly because the pressure has just gone off that touch and allowed them a little more time and space, a bit of freedom. And
they've hit that 400 mark again, 420 possessions to 350 of that of St Kilda.
So Milne getting the running goal, 119 to 61, 26 seconds to go. Well, as gloomy as a Russian novel in there. A week to regroup. Blake came hard.
I'd love your notepad.
Ling.
It's the best.
It's all spontaneous. What are you talking about? Ball goes down towards half forward. Corey, you're a trickster, Bruce. Taken by Milburn, running through midfield. Was he pushed in the back? No. Holding the ball. Dying seconds. Montagna runs down towards half forward. There's the siren. And Geelong have done what Geelong do all too often for opposing sides. 17-17, 119 to 8-13-61. Bartel, 34 possessions. Milburn, 32 possessions. They've racked them up this afternoon. Gary Ablett started slowly. but finished with 35. His third term quite outstanding. And Joel Corey, like the Beatles they are, he's George Harrison, 32.
Yeah, they were terrific. When the game had to be won early, they did it. And then in the third quarter, when there was any chance of being challenged our way. And nobody, Ricky, nobody does it like Steve Johnson.
That's right, he's an absolute freak. Mate, St Kilda are always a dangerous side, but you just hit him hard so early and pretty much had control of the game right from early on.
Yeah, we wanted to come out really hard, put some scoreboard pressure on early and make sure our tackling pressure was up, we're winning contested ball, all those sort of things that make us a good side. So I think we've done that early and shut St Kilda out of the game.
It must have been gut-wrenching to see Brent Prismal get carried off on a stretcher. How did the guys feel about that when that happened?
Yeah, it's not great to see because Prismal's had a great year and he's really making every post a winner every game he plays, and hopefully I think he might be okay.
Just on a positive note, coming across the half-forward flank, mate, that last quarter when he kicked the Lonigan, what was going through your mind? When you actually, first time you saw him there?
Oh, I seen him pretty early. I was probably just waiting for his defender to drop back into the space, but he was pretty open.
Good on you, mate. Well played today. Thanks.
Gee, saw it early.
He was pretty open. Yeah, no, well, that's just an awareness, knowing that man was going to drop back because the most likely option was long, but geez, he sees the game. He sees the game brilliantly.
He sees it before it happens.
Let's go down to Jimmy, who's with Tim.
Well, Jim, I get the impression that you blokes like seeing the challenges off, do you?
Oh, look, there's some pretty tough sides out there, and the Saints throw everything at us. We know what a senior side they are. They play a lot of footy and a lot of finals, so they're tough work.
Does it feel as exciting this year as it did last year?
Oh, any chance you get to play finals at the G, it's pretty exciting, so you don't need any motivation in that.
And are you a better unit, do you think, than last year?
We're a different unit. Not going to say we're better. We've got different personnel, so we just work with that.
Did you get a chance to see the Hawks on Friday night?
Yeah, pretty impressive. Big buddy kicking eight.
Would you like to have a crack at them at some stage?
We'll just take on whoever comes up, whoever that is.
Congratulations.
Jimmy and Timmy together, eh?
Well, George, you can just see the mindset, though. I mean, I don't think that's put on either. I mean, that's exactly what they feel.
119 to 61. Cats all the way over the Saints.